1975 National League Western Division champion Cincinnati Reds are on the air. The 75 League Championship Series with Marty Brennaman and Joe Nuxall. Reds baseball is brought to you by Stroh's, family brewers for 200 years, from one sports lover to another, and by the Marathon Oil Company, people who believe in people. By the First National Bank of Cincinnati, where your money grows safely in high-return certificates of deposit. By the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati, bottlers of Pepsi-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Schweppes products. By Frisch's. Sports or any kind of fun, they just naturally go together. And by Riverside Ford in Newport, a block and a bridge from downtown Cincinnati. Now, for all the play-by-play action of the Cincinnati Reds Championship Series, we go to Marty Brennaman and Joe Nuxall.
Good evening, everybody. From Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Joe Nuxall and yours truly, Marty Brennaman, welcoming you to Reds baseball. Tonight, the third game of the 1975 National League Championship Series. And for the Reds, of course, it'll be a bid to win this series in 3 straight games. Right-hander Gary Nolan, a 15-game winner during the regular season, will go for Cincinnati against rookie left-hander John Candelaria. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, here's the way they'll line up tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. Leading off and playing third base, Pete Rose. Batting second at second base, Joe Morgan. Johnny Bench will do the catching and hit third. Batting fourth at first base, Tony Perez. George Foster will be in left field, batting fifth. Hitting number 6, the shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Ken Griffey will be in right field, batting seventh. Hitting eighth in center field, Cesar Geronimo. And pitching and batting ninth for the Reds tonight, right-hander Gary Nolan. Again for Cincinnati, it's Rose at third base, Morgan at second, Bench catching. Perez at first, Foster in left field, Concepcion at shortstop. With Griffey in right, Geronimo in center field, and Nolan pitching. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, Danny Murtaugh not making any lineup changes whatsoever tonight, and that, of course, was indeed the speculation, although he's made a couple of changes in the order in which the Pirates will hit. The leadoff batter will be second baseman Rennie Stennett, and the Pirates are now taking the field. Batting number 2 at third base, Richie Hebner. Al Oliver in center field, bats third. Hitting in the cleanup spot at first base, Big Willie Starcher. Dave Parker in right field will bat fifth. Hitting number 6 in left field, Richie Ziss. Danny Sanguillen will do the catching, he'll bat seventh. Hitting eighth at shortstop, Frank Tavares. And batting number 9 and pitching for the Pirates is left-hander John Candelaria. Again, going over the Bucs lineup, it's Stennett at second base, Hebner at third base, Oliver in center field. Stargell at first, Parker in right, Zisk in left. With Sanguillen catching, Tavares at shortstop, and Candelaria pitching. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. We'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. Plan ahead and be in the center of all the action in 76 with Cincinnati Reds Action Plan season tickets. For information and details, call or write the Red Season Sales Office.
Rookie left-hander John Candelaria charged with the responsibility of trying to stave off 1975 elimination for the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. And, Joe, this young man, at least outwardly, does not appear to be concerned at all about the pressure, but you have to feel he's got to look upon this game as a little bit different.
Well, I'm sure he's aware of what it means to the Pittsburgh Pirate Ball Club and to the fans of Pittsburgh. And, of course, the Reds certainly wanting to wind it up tonight. And I think the first couple of innings could be a big factor in as to how John Candelaria fares. If the Reds can get to him early, why, it could be all over. But if he gets through a couple of innings and really calms down, why, he could be tough. The young man's a fine pitcher. He's had a fine year for the Pirates. And you got to give Danny Murtaugh an awful lot of credit. He says, I'm going with my 3 best, and Candelaria is one of the 3 best I have.
Well, he's ready to go as he winds and delivers to Pete Rose. The first pitch is swung on and fouled off to the right, and this third game of the 1975 National League Series is underway. Rose in the series has been up a total of 9 times, has had 3 hits. As Joe mentioned, Candelaria has pitched very well for Pittsburgh, and in fact, he's pitched 2 pretty fine ball games against Cincinnati. His 0-1 pitch is taken up high as the count evens at 1-1. 8 wins and 14 decisions. After his call-up from the Pirate AAA Farm Club at Charleston, he posted an earned run average of 275 and had 4 complete games and 18 starts. The 1-1 is again fouled off by Pete, and Candelaria is out in front of the Reds' leadoff batter in a ball and 2 strikes. Joe Morgan is on deck. He'll be followed by Johnny Bench as the Reds try to sweep the Pirates after 8-3 and 6-1 victories at Riverfront Stadium. An off day yesterday in which the Reds worked out here yesterday afternoon and now trying to end it here in Pittsburgh tonight. Candelaria has a sign, his pitch, and Rose takes strike 3, a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. John Candelaria punches Pete Rose out on strike 3 call. That'll bring up the second baseman, Joe Morgan. This, of course, has been the man who has led the way. The 10 stolen bases the Reds have had in the first 2 games. He had 3 on opening day Saturday and then came back with a stolen base on Sunday. The Reds as a team and, well, as far as Morgan is concerned individually, have either tied or set a bunch of Major League Championship Series records. Candelaria delivers to Morgan, who takes the first pitch inside. In the Pirate infield defensively, Willie Stargell at first base, Rennie Stennett at second, Frank Taveras at shortstop, and Richie Hebner playing in at third. Check the outfield in just a moment. Now the 1-0 pitch to Joe Morgan is swung on and fouled back. In left field, Richie Zisk. In center, Al Oliver. In right field, Dave Parker. Manny Sanguillen behind the plate. Candelaria, after striking out Pete Rose, is even against Morgan at 1-1 with Johnny Bench on deck. 21-year-old John Candelaria's 1-1 pitch, and that is taken for a strike. Son of Puerto Rican parents from Brooklyn, New York, an outstanding high school basketball player, had 200 college offers, turned them down to go baseball, and so far it has been a very, very wise decision for him. He's ahead of Morgan. He kicks and he fires, and Morgan takes a breaking ball down and away as it evens at 2-2. Base coaches for Cincinnati, as always, at first base. George Scherger at third is Alex Grammas. The outfield, well, Oliver playing maybe a step or 2 toward right for Morgan. Joe, as a batter, has had a hit in 6 times up, but that, of course, does not tell the story. 2-2, strike 3 call, and Morgan knew it. Well, you can't get off to any better start than John Candelaria has gotten off to, with call strikeouts of Rose and Morgan, and now Johnny Bench.
Marty, we have to say this for John. He certainly shows no emotion whatsoever as to the value of this ball game. He just made 2 super pitches to both Pete and Joe to get him on called third strikes. Had a fastball on the outside corner. Joe certainly knew it.
Here's Bench now. He's been up 8 times, has had 1 hit. He swings and misses on the first pitch, and Candelaria really bringing it up there in a flat-out hurry. Frank Pulley calling balls and strikes. Billy Williams at first. Tom Gorman at second. Art Williams at third. The 0-1 to Bench, and that is taken outside. Along the left field foul line, John Kibler, and on the right field line is Andy Olson. 2 men out, nobody on. Bench 1 ball and 1 strike against Candelaria. Should Johnny get on, the inning would be extended for Tony Perez. Candelaria looking down to Sanguillen. He's ready. The 1-1 delivery is swung on and missed, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. It has been a case here of simply the Reds doing everything right in the first 2 games of this series. Then strikes out swinging as John Candelaria has struck out the side. He got Rose and Morgan looking. He strikes Bench out swinging. And a simply spectacular beginning by the young left-hander for Pittsburgh. 3 up and 3 down. The Reds scoreless after a half inning of play with the Pittsburgh Pirates coming to bat. Well, after a top of the first inning that saw John Candelaria strike out the Reds in order, Rose, Morgan, and Bench, it'll be Right-hander Gary Nolan trying to pitch the nail-down game for the Big Red Machine tonight. A man who beat the Pirates 2 times in 3 decisions in 1975, getting them 8-4 back on the 3rd of June, beating them by a score of 6-1 on the 14th of August, and then losing 5-1 on the 24th of August. Nolan, by and large, has pitched very well against Pittsburgh. In 20 1/3 innings, he's given up 14 hits and 9 runs, while striking out 9 and walking only 2. Rennie Stennett will lead it off for Pittsburgh. He who has been up 9 times with 3 hits. Over the course of the year, batted .286 with 7 homers and 62 runs batted in. The pitch from Nolan is taken way outside and all the way by bench. Gary won 15. He lost 9 with a .316 earned run average. And if he's not the comeback player of the year in the National League, it's hard to say who would be. He's ready with a 1-0 to the plate. Stennett takes it inside, and the count goes to 2-0. Richie Hebner on deck. He'll be followed by Al Oliver. Should this game go to a 4th contest tomorrow night, it'll be Don Gullett against Jerry Royce. There's a strike to him, and it's 2-1. Reds would love to win it here and fly on back to Cincinnati and, of course, wait the outcome of that Boston-Oakland series, which certainly could also end tonight. Swung on, a fly ball hit to right field. Kenny Griffey pounds the glove, and he makes the catch. 1 down. Talking about changes in the Pirate batting order with Gary Nolan pitching after the Pirates had seen 2 straight left-handers. Hebner moved from the 7th spot to the number 2 position in the Pittsburgh batting order. Barker going from 6 to 5, switching places with Richie Zisk and batting in the 7th spot tonight rather than Hebner is Sanguillen, who hit number 2 in the first couple of games. Hebner, left-handed batter, takes the first pitch inside and low, ball 1. Tony Perez at first, Joe Morgan at second, Dave Concepcion at shortstop, and Pete Rose at third base. While in outfield, LaFoster left, Geronimo center, Griffey right. Bench hanging a sign for Nolan, the 1-0 to the 0-1 rather, as they call strike. Count even now at 1 ball and 1 strike to Richie Hebner. Boston and Oakland are underway. The Red Sox are scoreless in the top of the 1st at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. That's Rick Wise against Ken Holtzman. Swung on and foul back, and Hebner is behind in a ball, 2 strikes. Plate umpire Frank Pulley flashing the correct sign. They've got 2 and 2 on the scoreboard, but actually a ball and 2 strikes. Jose Tegon, the first base coach for Pittsburgh, Bob Skinner at third. Nolan ready with the next pitch to Hebner, and that is cut on and grounded foul between the coaching box and the bag at first. Holding count, a ball and 2 strikes. As was the case in Cincinnati, it is also outstanding weather here in Pittsburgh. Over 70 degrees yesterday, the same today, a very comfortable evening at games beginning here tonight. Hebner behind, Nolan deals. Swung on, a line drive hit into right field for Richie Hebner. So the first base hit of the ball game goes to third baseman Richie Hebner. Single to right field. The batter is Al Oliver. Nowhere near a capacity crowd here at Three Rivers Stadium tonight. Certainly you could not find a ticket for any price in Cincinnati with unbelievably big crowds. Here's a pitch to Oliver at the fastball high. At 54,633 on Saturday and 54,752 on Sunday. Sunday crowd, the second largest crowd ever to see a baseball game or game at Riverfront Stadium. Up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Stennett with a fly ball to right to begin the inning. Hebner is single to right field, and Oliver is out in front 2-0. Al up 6 times in the series has had a hit. Infield at double play depth. Nolan checking Hebner, delivers, Oliver swings, and here's a high pop on the left side of the infield. Rose backpedaling, now giving way to David. And behind the back white line, he squeezes it for the second out. Two down for Willie Stargell. Willie has had 1 hit and 7 times up, and certainly when you look at the productivity of the big bashers in this Pirate lineup, you can tell that While base stealing has seemingly been the name of the game for the Cincinnati Reds, the pitching has been outstanding. Here's a pitch to Stargell, taken for a strike. Don Gellett going all the way to beat him Saturday. Freddie Norman pitching 6 innings of 4-hit, 1-run baseball Sunday before Eastwick came on to give him 1 hit the rest of the way to get the save. Stargell swings and fouls it off to the left and on a play, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. On deck for the Pittsburgh Pirates is right fielder Dave Parker. Richie Hebner is a base runner at first base with 2 away, and Gary Nolan now on the back side of the mound goes to rubbing up the baseball. Signs all over the place here at Three River Stadium trying to implore the Pirates to come up with a victory tonight. Here's a pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him. Stargell tried to check his swing but could not do it. So Nolan out of the first inning as the Pirates come away with nothing on a hit, and Hebner left at first base. And after 1 complete, Cincinnati nothing and Pittsburgh nothing. No score at the end of 1 complete inning of play, and John Candelaria, after a spectacular first inning that saw him strike out the side, will be working to Tony Perez, George Foster, and Davey Concepcion. And Joe, you look back on the 2 games in which Candelaria faced us, and here's a man here in Tony Perez that burned him twice.
Well, he got him pretty good both times, and of course I imagine Tony is looking forward and hopefully get him a 3rd time. It wouldn't be a bad idea right now.
It was his first inning home run Sunday off Jim Rooker with a man on that, of course, proved to be all that Cincinnati needed. Perez has had a very, very good series with 5 hits and 8 times up, that home run, and 4 runs batted in. Candelaria into his motion, delivers to the plate, and Perez takes it high a ball. John Candelaria and Gary Nolan, you got a couple of guys that don't waste any time whatsoever out there. They get it right on. 1-0 pitch, swung on and fouled down the right side and out of play. Tony with 2 home runs against Candelaria, and each of them coming in the 8th inning with a man on. One here that won a game for Cincinnati. Or rather, one in Cincinnati that won the game 5-3. Here's his 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. He challenged him with a fastball up and in. Then Tony got him in the 8th inning on a game here on the 22nd of August with a man on that sent the Reds out in front briefly before Parker and Hebner hit back-to-backers in the bottom of the inning off of Will McEnany to give the Pirates a 4-2 win. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Candelaria has struck out 4 consecutive batters.
He played hardball with Tony there. That was a ball that Tony hit out of the ballpark on him, in fact, the last time here, but a little early yet.
That'll bring up George Foster with 1 down. George has had 4 hits and 8 times in the series, all singles. During the year, batted .300 with 23 homers and 75 RBIs, and had a couple of home runs all in 1 game off Jerry Royce in a game that the Reds won in Cincinnati. Candelaria has fanned 4 pretty good hitters, Rose, Morgan, Bench, and Perez, and now will be working to Foster, who takes his time getting in there. Davey Concepcion on deck. Candelaria to the plate, and Foster swings and hits one into left field. There's Richie Zisk, and there are 2 quick outs. Here's another man who's had a good series, and Sparky predicted before it ever started that Concepcion would do exactly what he has done. 7 times to the plate, 4 base hits. No homers, no runs batted in. Only 2 home runs have been hit so far in the 2 games, one by Don Gellett, his first ever professional home run Saturday, and then the home run by Tony Sunday. Candelaria deals to Concepcion. A strike is called. Fastball letter high. We're at no score in the top of the 2nd with 2 outs. Boston and Oakland have completed an inning, no score in that one. Swung on, fly ball, hit back into left field. Richie Zisk going back. It's going, a home run. Davey Concepcion has taken Candelaria deep to left field with 2 out here in the 2nd, and the Reds have gone out in front 1-0. Well, the first Cincinnati hit a long ball to left by shortstop Davey Concepcion. He gets a glad hand from Ken Griffey as he taps home plate, and the Reds have jumped out in front here in the 2nd inning.
Marty, that was a fair ball that Candelaria hung up out over the plate, and Dave got into it. I think we had to help a little bit there. Wasn't real sure.
So number one is on the board, 2 away in the inning, and here's Ken Griffey. Candelaria deals, fastball to the screen, a foul ball. Kenny and Tony Perez are tied for club honors in runs batted in, each with 4 apiece. Kenny has had 3 hits and 8 times up. And that big 2-run double off Jerry Royce with 2 down in the series opener on Saturday. Here's the 0-1, and that one is swung on and hit into left field along the line, just giving chase. And in foul ground, he cannot come up with it as he tried to make a catch very close to that fence separating the playing area from the Cincinnati bullpen. So a count that holds at 2 strikes. Davey Concepcion with a solo home run to left field here in the second inning with 2 down to give the Reds a 1-0 lead. Griffey with a fine year in 1975 at .305 with 4 home runs and 46 runs batted in. Looking for his 4th league championship series base hit right here in the second against Candelaria with 2 away. 2 strikes to count. He kicks and he fires, and that pitch is strike 3 call, and Candelaria has his 5th strikeout. But in the inning for the Big Red Machine, a run on a hit. Dave Concepcion's home run. And at the end of 1.5 innings of play, it's the Reds 1 and the Pirates nothing. Cincinnati Reds 580 gift shop and newsstand has a lot of brand new championship souvenirs saluting the 1975 Reds. Stop by on your next trip to downtown Cincinnati. Some of the new items include a ladies' charm, a men's tie tack, pennants, souvenir ashtrays, a beer bucket, T-shirts, buttons, the list goes on and on. 580 Gifts and News is located in the street-level lobby of the 580 building, corner of 6th and Walnut in downtown Cincinnati. The shop is open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 until 5:30. Stop by soon. Reds 1, Pirates nothing. Concepcion a long ball to left off Candelaria in the upper half of the second. Here's Dave Parker beginning inning number 2 for Pittsburgh, and Nolan's first pitch is well in on him for a ball. Parker has had no hits and 6 times up so far. He looks at a strike as the count evens at 1-1. And a particularly rough day on Sunday, going 0 for 4 and striking out twice as Freddie Norman tied him absolutely up in knots. Left-handed batter. A lot of power, had 25 homers during the year. 1-1 pitch is low inside ball 2, 2-1. Richie Zisk on deck and then Manny Sanguillen. Pirates had a hit in the first inning, a single with 1 down by Hebner, but Oliver popped to short and Scargill struck out. Nolan delivers a 2-1 pitch, and that's ball 3 inside as Nolan tries to keep the ball in on Parker, but so far has been doing it too much so here. Reds outfield pretty much straight away for Parker. Griffey extremely deep in right. 3-1 pitch is swung on, hit into right field. Griffey coming in. He will make the catch. Almost overran the ball as he retires Parker on the line drive to right field. That'll bring up Richie Zisk. This 3 hits and 7 times up. No RBIs for the Pirates in the first 2 games. Right-handed batter. Reds leading the Pirates 1-0 as we play baseball in the home half of the second inning. The pitch to Zisk, down and away a ball. Sparky Anderson pointing up the advantages of being able to possibly sweep this series, and that, of course, the club would have tomorrow off and then really go to work hard on Thursday, 5 or 6 hours so. Strike to him on the outside edge, 1-1. Boston and Oakland, the A's much the same situation, or exactly the same situation, against the Red Sox as the Pirates are against the Reds. Strike 2 is called as this. Red Sox beating them back-to-back at Fenway Park and trying to get the deciding 3rd victory tonight from right-hander Rick Wise. 1-2 the count on Richie Zisk, and he takes the curve down and away as it evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Manny Sanguillen on deck. Nolan into his motion. He pitches. This swings and fouls this one straight back. straight years now, the Pirates have been here in the League Championship Series. Last year, they lost 2 straight at home to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Went to L.A., won the first game out there, but then bombarded in the 4th game. Foul back, count holding at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Reds are trying to advance into the World Series for the first time since 1972. And for the 3rd time since Sparky Anderson took over the managerialship of this club beginning in 1970. 2-2 pitch on the way to Ziff. Strike 3 swinging. Nolan got him with a fastball, and Gary has his 2nd strikeout. 2 down in the Pirates' 2nd, and the batter will be catcher Manny Sanguillen. Manny much maligned by, well, I would say a large contingent of the news media covering this series over the fact that the Reds have stolen 10 bases, but Joe Morgan, of course, has led the charge and, of course, explained very, very emphatically that the Reds' steal have been off the pitchers more so than they have off Sanguillen. Ball is outside to him. Manager Danny Murtaugh staying right with Manny for this 3rd game, despite the fact that he hinted possibly at lineup changes, of which did not come off to any degree whatsoever. The Pirates with the same lineup. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. With 2 down, the base is empty in the home 2nd. And a score of Cincinnati 1 and Pittsburgh nothing. Nolan deals. Sanguillen takes. Off the glove of Bench. It's ball 2 with a strike. And he led the Pirates in hitting during the year with a .328 batting average, had 9 home runs and 58 runs batted in. Frank Taveras, the number 8 batter and Pirate shortstop, standing on deck. Nolan looking down to get the sign from Bench. 2-1 to Sanguillen. Swung on fly ball right field, curving toward foul ground. Griffey giving chase, no play as it hits down into the Pittsburgh bullpen. Talking about bullpens, it was interesting, somewhat of a controversy here yesterday. Sparky Anderson feeling like the front slope of the bullpen and the Reds bullpen, the mound was somewhat flatter than the mound on the playing field. They went through measurements with the grounds crew here and everything. Curve misses down and outside, and Gary Nolan has gone a full count to a Pirate batter for the first time tonight.
Marty, what happened, of course, yesterday, the mound on the bullpen, there's 2 of them together, and it throws a little different light on the thing. The one out here in the playing field, of course, by itself, and really does look much higher than the ones in the bullpen, but I found out that the drop-off was the same.
Sanguillen fouls back the 3-2 pitch, so Gary cranks it up again as he delivers, and Sanguillen hits a very high pop into shallow left field. Davey back, Foster in. Foster calls, and the side retired. Pittsburgh got an order in the 2nd, and after 2 quick innings of play, the Reds 1, the Pirates nothing. We'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Reds 580 gift shop is full of brand new souvenirs saluting the Reds 1975 champions. Stop by 580 Gifts and News, 6th and Walnut, downtown Cincinnati.
We move into the top of the 3rd. It's 1-0 Cincinnati, and Cesar Geronimo will open it up against John Candelaria. And here to call the action for you, Joe Nuxall.
All right, Marty, the Chief looking for his first hit in the championship playoff series. He's driven in 1 run. Reds leading at 1-0. A run coming on a Dave Concepcion home run in the 2nd inning with 2 out. Candelaria has struck out 5 in the first 2 innings. Outfield for Geronimo will be straight away. Hebner in a bit at 3rd. Candelaria into the wind, and his first pitch to the Chief is in for a called strike. Geronimo on the year at .257 with 6 home runs and 53 RBIs. Candelaria's 0-1 delivery. Geronimo swings on it and fouls it off the mid of Manny Sanguillen, and quickly Candelaria out in front 0-2 to Geronimo. It'll be Geronimo, Nolan, and Rose here in the 3rd inning. Candelaria has the sign from Sanguin, winds and delivers. Out, strike 3 call. He gets the outside corner with a fastball, and he's knocking them off. That's 6 now in the first 2 innings plus. With 1 away, Gary Nolan to the plate. Gary, on the year, had 12 hits and 68 times to the plate. Drove in 7 runs, and Gary with a 176 batting average. Rose on deck. Candelaria to the plate, and Nolan takes it a strike on the inside corner. John Candelaria trying to keep the lights glowing here in Pittsburgh. Right now trails 1-0. The 0-1 delivery, and Nolan takes it high. Count evens 1-1. Candelaria off with a cap. Now turns and looks into Sanguin. And his 1-1 delivery on the way. Nolan swings and misses. A ball, 2 strikes to Gary Nolan. Outfield around to the right for Gary. As Candelaria is back to the plate, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 7. Now John Candelaria with 7 strikeouts in the first 2 2/3 innings, and that brings Pete Rose to the plate. Pete was called out on strikes, leading off the game. Pete, of course, on the year hit .317 in the championship series. Pete has had 3 hits. Has scored 1 run. Candelaria delivers, and Rose swings and sends a foul down the right side and well back into the seats. Joe Morgan waiting on deck. Play Pete around to the right in the outfield. The 0-1 delivery. Taken high and outside. Count evens 1-1. Oakland, after 1 inning, no score. And Holtzman and Reggie Cleveland in that one. Or Rick Wise, rather, for Boston. 1-1 on the way. Swung on, chopped foul at the plate. Down the ball, 2 strikes now to Pete Rose. And they got a charged up crowd here tonight at Three Rivers. Reds leading at 1-0. Dave Concepcion's home run. Candelaria, a ball, 2 strikes with Rose, 2 out. The base is empty. Shakes off the sign. Winds and delivers. That swung on and looped down the right field line, chasing it Stinnett and Parker is there in third territory to make the catch. So the Reds out in order in the 3rd, nothing across, and at the middle of inning number 3 here in Pittsburgh, the Reds 1, the Pirates nothing. All right, for the Pirates in the bottom half of the 3rd, it'll be Taveras, Candelaria, and Rennie Stinnett. Taveras has had 1 hit, has driven in a run in the first 2 games, the playoffs. Taveras, the right-handed batter. Gary Nolan has allowed 1 hit. That hit belonging to Richie Hefner in the first inning. He struck out 2. Got Willie Stargell in the first, Richie Zist in the second. Rose in at third base as Nolan winds and delivers. Taveras takes it low ball. Frank for the year hit .212, drove in 23 runs. Let's lead 1-0. Nolan back to the plate. That's taken a called strike on the outside corner, and the count evens 1-1. Gary's 1-1 delivery. Taveras swings on it and sends it to center field. Geronimo drifting back and to his left makes the catch, 1 away. All right, here's pitcher John Candelaria. And boy, he hits a big Down here at Three Rivers. And through the first 3 innings, he's certainly deserving. He struck out 7. Candelaria hit 140 this year. Drove in 2 runs. He slings on the first pitch and fouls out of play. Candelaria, left-handed batter. Outfield well around to the left for John. Nolan's 0-1 delivery. That's strike 2 call at the knees. Gary quickly out in front, 0-2 to Candelaria. Rennie Stennett waiting on deck. Nolan has his sign, and his 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Bench tags him as he traps the ball, and Nolan has his 3rd strikeout, threw away, and Rennie Stennett to the plate. Stennett in the first inning hit a fly ball to Griffey in right field. Stennett on the year, a .286 batting average with 7 home runs and 62 RBIs. Nolan works, Stennett takes, strike 1 call. Gary up to this point very sharp. And throwing good, the 0-1. Breaking ball way outside. Count evens the ball to strike. Outfield for Stennett, shaded to the right. 1-1 on the way. That's ball 2, just missing down low. 2-1. Stennett looks to third base coach Bob Skinner. Now steps back into the batter's box. 2-1 delivery. High, 3 balls to strike to Stennett. Gary goes 3-1 to Stennett. He was 3-1 to Parker in the second inning. Three-1 delivery. Swung on, hit well to center field. Now drifting back is Geronimo. He has room on the warning track, in the middle of the warning track. He makes the catch. The Pirates are out in order, and that's 8 straight that Nolan has retired. Nothing across, and after 3, it's the Reds 1, the Pirates nothing. The totals for 3 innings show the Reds a run on 1 hit. The Pirates no runs. They've had 1 hit. For Cincinnati, it'll be Joe Morgan to lead it off in the 4th, and back for the action. Here's Marty.
Okay, Joe, at the end of 3 innings at Oakland, no score. The Red Sox and the A's here 1-0 on Davies' second inning home run to left field, and that, as Joe mentioned, the only hit the Reds have had off the man they refer to as the Candy Man here in Pittsburgh, John Candelaria. He has struck out 7. He has not walked a batter. Morgan looked at a 3rd strike in the first inning. Hebner in at 3rd. Candelaria to the plate, and Morgan checks his swing on a pitch high. Now with an appeal play to third base umpire Art Williams, Manny Sanguillen asking for it, and he goes the same way Morgan did, ball 1. Morgan with 4 of the 10 steals the Reds have had in the first 2 games. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, fly ball hit to left field. Should be a routine play for Richie Zisk. 1 out. We'll bring up Johnny Bench, who struck out swinging in the first. Morgan has 4 steals, Ken Griffey 3, Davey Concepcion 2, and George Foster with 1. Here's John now. 1 down, nobody on. Candelaria with a look in to Manny Sanguillen. Outfield pull well around toward left and deep. Candelaria still looking now to the motion. Bench takes the first pitch, a ball low. There is absolutely no tomorrow for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their backs are to the very wall. They're trailing 1-0 in the 4th inning. Bench, strike to him on the inside part of the plate. Actually jumping away from the pitch, 1-1. Now the 1-1 offering swung on and fouled straight back, and that'll be out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. pitch with 1 hit so far in the 2 complete games played. That was a first-inning single in the 8th inning on Saturday afternoon. He's behind here to Candelaria. The pitch on the way, and the fastball is up high. Ball 2. 2-2. Hebner deep at third. Tavares deep at shortstop. Bench trying to get on for Tony Perez will be up next. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and chopped foul as it rolls over toward this end of the Cincinnati dugout. So a holding count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Morgan with a fly ball to left to begin the inning, and this game continues to move very, very rapidly. With 1 hit for Cincinnati, the home run by Concepcion, and 1 hit, a single by Richie Hebner to right field in the first inning for Pittsburgh. Strike 3 swinging. Making 8 strikeouts for Candelaria, and the second straight time he's punched out Johnny Bench. The way this young man is pitching right now, you have to feel he's well on the way to a League Championship Series record. He has already set a new National League record with the 4 straight strikeouts in the first inning, and equal the League Championship Series record for the Major League. Joe Coleman struck out 4 batters for Detroit back in 1972. Here's a pitch to Tony Perez, strike swinging. He threw that pitch by. Perez struck out in the second as a leadoff batter. Two men out, bases empty. Candelaria coming with a strike 1 pitch. Perez takes it up, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. He fanned 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and has gotten Bench here in the fourth for number 8. Perez steps away, now back in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's high and outside, ball 2. You have to admire this young man's poise. He has had the same type of poise going for him from day one when he joined Pittsburgh from Charleston. Seemingly knows what it's all about, and I'll tell you, there are a lot of managers in this league that would love to have him wearing their uniform. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit to right center field and hit well. Parker going back. He's there. He makes the catch, and that's the inning. The Reds are up and down in order for the 3rd time in 4 innings, and after 3.5, Cincinnati 1 and Pittsburgh nothing. If you're the kind of person who likes to plan ahead, then the Cincinnati Reds remind you that now is the time to start thinking about 1976 and Reds Action Plan season tickets. You can use them to entertain clients, reward employees, or to treat the family or friends to a day at the ball game. Let one of the members of the Red Season sales staff explain all the VIP bonuses extended to Action Planners. Make a note and mark your calendar to call the Reds office for all the details about season tickets in 1976. Leading off the 4th inning for Pittsburgh, the man who has had the only hit off of Gary Nolan, that's 3rd baseman Richie Hebner, who singled sharply to right field in the first inning. Since that time, Nolan has retired 8 straight. Cesar Geronimo running in from center field and bringing a frisbee with him that apparently was pitched out of the center field seats. This is going to be taken onto the Reds dugout. Joe mentioned, very, very vocal crowd and very enthusiastic crowd here tonight, trying to spur the Pirates on to a victory that would keep them in the series. Richie Hebner now with 3 hits and 8 times in the set. Here's the pitch to him from Nolan, taking a ball high. Ranked 7th on the Pirate all-time home run list, and a big month of June this season with 10 homers and 21 RBIs. 1-0 to the plate, swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Morgan behind the back white line at second, playing deep for the left-handed batting Hebner. Al Oliver, Willie Stargell to follow. Hebner swings and fouls this one out of play. It's a ball and 2 strikes now. A run on a hit for Cincinnati. No runs, 1 hit for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're in the home half of the 4th inning. Nolan ready. Hebner behind. Fly ball, left center field. Geronimo on his horse. He and Foster both there, but the Chief will squeeze it for out number 1. Oliver popped out to Davey Concepcion in the first inning. Boy, you look at history, and it would seem to indicate that the Pirates have little chance in this series. No club has ever come back from a 2-0 deficit to win a league championship series in either the National League or the American League. Foul ball, no, a swing, and there was a foul tip the bench hung on to. Meanwhile, in Oakland, Boston has scored once in the fourth inning. 1-0 Red Sox at the end of 3.5. Strike 2 swinging. Oliver quickly down to Gary Nolan, 2 strikes. Gary has struck out 3, has not walked anybody. In fact, neither pitcher has walked a batter. Inside a ball to him, 1-2. Left-handed batting Al Oliver. Swings and pops it up back of the plate, but that ball will be out of play. And a lot of babushkas in evidence tonight. Pittsburgh fans bringing them out. Count holding, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nolan kicks and fires. Oliver takes this one in the dirt. It kicks on by the plate. 2-2. Nolan has his sign from bench. Oliver with a fly ball to center field. Geronimo coming in, still on the run, tracking it, waiting, 2 out. The 2 fly balls to center field in the fourth inning, and now Willie Stargell, who struck out swinging in the first. I'd like to send along our best to Reds fans listening tonight in Huntington, West Virginia on WGNT, in Fort Wayne, Indiana on WLYV, and in Louisville, Kentucky on WXVW. 2 down, bases empty, Pirate fourth, Reds 1, Pittsburgh nothing. Here's a pitch to Stargell. He swings and he misses. Gary Nolan and John Candelaria with some good stuff going for him tonight. Only one mistake has been made, and that was Davey Concepcion's home run in the second. Been the only run scored up to this point. Stargell looks at this pitch, starts to go, but holds up in time, and it's a ball and 1 strike. Nolan bringing it. Stargell swings, pop up, third base side foul ground. Rose coming over, and it'll be back about 10 to 12 rows. One ball, 2 strikes with 2 away. Nolan has now retired 10 consecutive hitters since the first inning single by Richie Hebner. All right, looking around, Tony Perez says something to him, and now Nolan apparently something concerning the Rosenbag and the fact that it was on the turf back of the mound. He kicks it into the dirt back of the pitching rubber. Here's his next pitch to Stargell, and that one is bounced foul at first base. Willie way out in front of the off-speed pitch. Gary Nolan all business. 15 wins, 9 losses on the year. Pitch. Fly ball hit very high in the air. Shallow left along the line. Rose is under. Pete calling, and he makes a catch. The Pirates are up and down for the 3rd consecutive inning, and after 4 complete, it remains the Reds 1, the Pirates nothing. Here in the top of the 5th inning for Cincinnati, it'll be George Foster who'll lead it off against John Candelaria, then Davey Concepcion, and then Ken Griffey. This game starting out like an old-fashioned pitching duel. The Concepcion homer in the second to give the Reds their current 1-0 lead. Candelaria, not letting that shake him up. 1 iota has rolled along since that time, has set down 7 batters in a row, and of the 7, he has struck out 4. Foster 0 for 1, a fly ball to left field in the second. He was the first man to make contact against Candelaria after he had struck out the first 4 batters to face him in the game. Foster now 4 for 9 in the series. Marky Anderson not making any changes at all in his lineup. Well, he shouldn't after the way this club has played in Cincinnati. And, of course, as we mentioned, after much speculation, Murtaugh went with the same 8 people. First pitch is fouled away. Well, they completed 4 in Oakland. It's still the Red Sox 1, the A's nothing. Manager Al Dark bringing Kenny Holtzman back after he pitched and lost the first game 7-1 at Fenway Park Saturday. 1-strike pitch. Just down low and inside. 1-1. Foster really coming into his own in 1975 after getting the opportunity to play on an everyday basis from May 3rd on, date in which Pete Rose came in from left field to third base. 300 at 23 home runs and 75 runs batted in. Candelaria even with him. 1-1 pitch. Swung on. Fly ball again. Looped to left field. In is Richie Zisk, and that's out number 1. Fastball up. Candelaria coming with a 1-0 pitch. That's a strike to him with the letters. 1 ball and 1 strike. Oliver playing a couple of steps toward left center field. Swung on and lined down the right field line, but a foul ball. That hitting into the Pirate bullpen. Game, as far as the Pirate pitching is concerned, in direct opposition to the first game where the Reds were able to get people on early and pretty much score early, although we had to come from behind Saturday after Pittsburgh put the first 2 runs on the board. Candelaria with no walks up to this point and really pitching himself a fine game. He delivers. Davey takes strike 3. He knew it. Breaking ball, and that's his 9th strikeout. 2 away in the inning. Kenny Griffey, who looked at a 3rd strike, and the 2nd will step in. Candelaria has struck out everybody in the Cincinnati lineup save George Foster, and he's gotten Foster twice on fly balls to left field. Of his 9 strikeouts, 5 have been called 3rd strikes. Hebner a bit in at 3rd. Griffey, 2 down, takes strike 1. Left-hander against left-hander. Here's the 0-1 to the plate, and that's a breaking ball that stays low, and the count evens at 1-1. Kenny not real pleased when initially he was told that he was being dropped down to the number 7 spot in the batting order, but well, you can look at the results that we have gotten from him in that position. He has certainly done some kind of job, as the 4 RBIs would attest. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 away. Swung on and bounced to short. Here's Taveras digging it out, and on the throw to first. He got him by a step, and the side is retired. 3 men up, 3 men down. We have gone halfway home. This 3rd game of the 75 League Championship Series. After 4.5, the Reds won, the Pirates nothing. Before the Pirates come to bat in the 5th inning, we'll pause again for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. Reds Line, the Cincinnati Reds baseball talk show, will be back again this winter on WLW. Tune Reds Line every Monday night at 7:05 starting October 27th.
Well, a murmur of anticipation going through this Three River Stadium crowd as Dave Parker strolls plateward to begin inning number 5 for the Bucks. He had a line drive to right in the 2nd inning. Here's his pitch, and the ball is hit in the air to left field. Foster heading toward the foul line, pulls up short and puts it away. And I'll tell you, there have been no tough defensive plays up to this point. They have all been routine for both clubs.
Well, I think, Marty, the thing about both pitchers, they're making good pitches, and of course, John Candelaria with an exceptionally fine fastball, and Gary's control, as we pointed out, has just been near perfect. He's been putting the ball exactly where he's wanted it.
Here's Richie Zisk, a line drive into left center field. That's a base hit. Hit number 2 for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this one comes off the bat of one Richie Zisk. That stops Gary Nolan's string of 12. He had set down a dozen batters in a row, and Zisk breaks it up with a one-out hit. Manny Sanguillen, the batter, hit a fly ball to left field his first time up. So a single with one out in the first inning by Hebner, and the Pirates get their next hit here in the fifth with one down by Zisk. Greg Reynolds has gone down to the Pirates bullpen, apparently to begin loosening up, so we could possibly see a pinch hitter for the Pittsburgh Pirates here in the fifth inning should Manny Sanguillen get on and pose a Pittsburgh threat. Zisk leading. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled away. Frank Tavares is on deck, but Reynolds has gone down to begin loosening up in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Cincinnati infield deploys itself at double play depth. Zisk becomes only the second Pittsburgh base runner. Now the 0-1. Swung on and hit in the air along the right field line. Ken Griffey will not have a play on it. It's 2 strikes on Sanguillen. Play umpire Frank Pulley dusting off home plate, and now Sanguillen requesting and getting the pine tar rag from the Pirate bat boy. Okay, Sanguillen back in the batter's box as this takes his lead against the holding Tony Perez. 1-0 to score Cincinnati. Dave Concepcion's second inning home run to left field. Now Sanguillen steps away. Nolan gets back to looking at the sign. He stretches. He delivers. Sanguillen swings. Line drive hit to right field. Here comes Zisk on the second base. He'll stop there as Griffey returns in front of the infield. And the Pirates have him at first and second with one out. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates trying to get back in it here, down by a run, and apparently Frank Tavares is going to be lifted. Left-handed batting Ed Kirkpatrick has come on to bat for shortstop Frank Tavares as Danny Murtaugh goes to his bench here in the fifth inning to try and get some runs across.
Marty, you can't blame Danny right here because the way this game is going, you got to try to take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself to score a run, and this is by far their best shot in the ball game. And of course, Kirkpatrick, a left-handed batter, but likes to do a little 4-6-3 here.
Kirkpatrick been up one time as a pinch hitter in this series, and that was in the seventh inning Sunday when he popped out to Joe Morgan. During the year, and hit .236 with 5 homers and 16 runs batted in. So he's coming on to hit for Frank Tavares with Zisk at second. That's the tying run if the Pirates can get him home. And Manny Sanguillen at first. They've earned on back-to-back base hits. Left-handed batting Ed Kirkpatrick now stepping in. Nolan looking around. Now looking into bench who hangs the sign. To stretch the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. Oakland has made a pitching change. Jim Todd has come on in relief in the fifth inning. So Kenny Holtzman is out of there in his second start in 3 games, and now some activity underway in the Reds bullpen. Clay Carroll is up and throwing. One strike on Ed Kirkpatrick. Candelaria on deck. Here's the next pitch. Swung on and popped up. There'll be a play on that ball near the Pirate dugout. Johnny Bench has it, and they're 2 out. So Kirkpatrick with a pop-up to Johnny Bench over by the Pirate dugout, and now it'll be John Candelaria trying to help his own cause. He struck out swinging his first time up in the third inning. Joe Morgan talking with Gary Nolan. Morgan now heading on back to his second base position. Parker had a fly ball to left to begin the inning. Sisk single to left center. Sanguillen went the other way with a base hit to right. Kirkpatrick getting Fort Tavares is popped to bench in foul ground. Pitcher against pitcher with 2 out and 2 on as Nolan tries to protect his 1-0 lead. It's pitched to Candelaria, swung on and foul. Gary now throwing in the baseball and getting another one from plate umpire Frank Pulley. Oakland's made another pitching change. Paul Lindblad has come on. So Boston apparently was something going in a big way in the 5th inning. Swung on and foul at the plate. It's 2 strikes. In case you do not know, the World Series opens Saturday afternoon in the American League Park. Saturday and Sunday games there, and then they go to the National League City Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights of next week. Off day next Friday, and then should games 6 and 7 be needed, they would again be in the American League City. No balls, 2 strikes. Nolan deals to Candelaria. He just got a piece of the ball, and Bench was not able to hang on. Frank Pulley had given the strikeout sign, but it was in and then out of John's glove. So the count stays at 0-2. Outfield playing Candelaria the other way. Nolan again walks out past the mound. Studying concentration. To the belt. Check of Zisk pitch. Strike 3 swinging. Bench bobble and now lost it. And now throwing on down to Tony Perez, and that's the inning as Gary Nolan fans Candelaria to pick up his 4th strikeout, and the Pirate thread goes by the boards. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. And after 5 complete, Reds 1, Pirates nothing. Now this game a little over an hour old, and already we go to the 6th inning and a change in the Pittsburgh Pirate lineup. Craig Reynolds has come on to play shortstop, taking over for Frank Tavares, who was lifted for the pinch hitter Kirkpatrick in the 5th. The Reds will go this way in the 6th inning. Geronimo, Nolan, and Pete Rose. The Reds have been out hit 3-1, but lead 1-0 on a homer by Concepcion back in the 2nd. Geronimo looked at a 3rd strike in the 3rd inning. Might be wondering about that run that Boston scored in the 4th. As Oakland continues to have problems defensively, making critical errors in the first game of the series in Boston as the Red Sox won that one, and of course won Sunday's game also tonight. Claudel Washington dropped a line drive off the bat of Fred Lynn. Went all the way to second base on the error, and then Lynn scored on a Rico Petrocelli single. Candelaria, Geronimo. Left-hander with a motion is pitch on the way to the plate and taken for strike 1. Reds have not had a base runner. Concepcion had the home run. Nobody else has reached. Ken Griffey's ground out as a final out in the 5th. The first ball hit on the ground. Strike 2 is called as he gets it over on the outside edge. He really can't make any better pitches than Candelaria has made in this game. Saying just about the same thing as far as Gary Nolan is concerned. 0-2. This is outside and high. Ball 2 strikes to Geronimo. Chief has been up now a total of 7 times without a hit, although does have a run batted in on the sacrifice fly. They'll make it 4-0. Boston over Oakland as the Red Sox score 3 times in the 5th inning. Geronimo strikes out swinging as he chases a pitch down and away from him, and Candelaria is in double figures. That is strikeout number 10. Gary Nolan struck out in the 3rd. So Boston 4, Oakland nothing as the A's bat in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And it would appear at this point as if Boston is well on their way to a sweep in the American League Championship Series. Here's Gary Nolan now, and he takes a strike all the way as he steps back away from the plate. I don't believe up to this point, Joe, that Candelaria has been a 3-ball count to a batter.
Not to my knowledge. He has really been around that plate and making some excellent pitches.
Strike 2 call to Nolan. Reds getting 12 hits on Sunday, 11 hits Saturday afternoon. Have had only one tonight, but that one is the one that has a run on the board. Nolan checked it on a fastball, and the crowd did not like the call by Pulley. Ball and 2 strikes. Clay Carroll, who had been throwing in the Reds bullpen in the last inning, of course, now has set himself down. Candelaria looking for his 11th strikeout as he delivers and gets it as Nolan swings and misses. 2 away in the inning. Go back to the top of the batting order for Pete Rose, who has struck out and a fly ball to right field. Rose looking to get on for the first time tonight. Candelaria taking a little bit extra time, now works, and Rose swings and hits a fly ball back into right. Parker is right there, and the side is retired. 4th consecutive inning, the Reds have gone up and down in order against the slants of the young left-hander John Candelaria in the middle of inning number 6. Cincinnati 1 and Pittsburgh nothing. If you're looking for a gift for a special occasion for somebody who's a big Cincinnati Reds fan, here's a suggestion from the Reds 580 gift shop in Newsstand. 4 very distinctive Cincinnati Reds art prints are available. Willard Mullins' Big Red Machine is a lighthearted watercolor. Artist Clint Orleman has done 3 paintings, including 2 in the series of greatest moments in Reds history. Those are double no-hitter featuring Johnny Vandermeer and the home run highlighting Johnny Bench. One of these art prints will let a Cincinnati Reds fan relive some of the excitements of Reds baseball all year long. It makes a great gift. Stop by the Reds 580 gift shop or call or write the Reds office for information. Upper third of the Pirate batting order. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gary Nolan able to weather the storm in the 5th when the Pirates had 2 men on with 1 man out. Now goes to work against Rennie Stennett. Stennett takes the first pitch low ball. Stennett is flying to right. He's hit one to deep center field. That drive caught in the 3rd by Geronimo. Here's a man who had 7 hits and as many times to the plate for a major league record in September against the Chicago Cubs. Swung on and fired down the right field line and out of play. Very well against the Reds, batting .388 with 3 homers, 3 doubles rather, a homer and 4 runs batted in. Stennett calling time as he goes to tying his right shoelace. Now steps back in to await Gary Nolan's 1-1 pitch. Hebner on deck, then Al Oliver. Pitch on the way. Stennett swings, fly ball right field, and again this will find its way to the Pirate bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pirate hits off the bats of Hebner in the 1st, and 5th inning singles by Richie Zisk and Manny Sanguillen. Only Cincinnati hit a 2nd inning home run by Dave Concepcion. Nolan ahead to the Pirates' second baseman. Sanguillen swings, ground ball short. Concepcion has it. He throws to Tony, and there's 1 down. Tell you, defensively, it has been an outstanding series. So much was said about the Pirate defense coming in, but Pittsburgh has played errorless baseball through the first 2 games. No errors charged against either club in this one. The only error has been one against Concepcion in the Sunday afternoon game. An error charged to him on an overthrow of first base on an attempted double play. Hebner 1 for 2, base hit, fly ball. Swing and a miss. Of course, the Cincinnati pitching has been outstanding. Gary with a one-strike pitch. Hebner takes the ball low and inside. It's 1-1. Should there be a fourth game, and we certainly hope it will not come to that, be tomorrow night again at 8:30, and the probables would be Don Gullett and Jerry Royce, who opened the first one. Another foul by Hebner. 1-2, and now we note that left-hander Will McInerney has started to loosen up in the Cincinnati bullpen. Hebner behind. On deck is Al Oliver. Hebner away from the plate. Calls time with the plate umpire Frank Pulley, and now steps back in. Nolan winds, delivers. Hebner swings, line smash off Nolan's glove. Morgan running after, picks it up, throws the ball down. The ball hit off of Gary Nolan's glove, rolled out toward second base. Morgan was playing deep, of course, for him. Tried to come in, and in fact did get to the ball and threw off balance. But Hebner across the bag has been credited with an infield hit.
Buddy, that was one of those that really wasn't hit that hard. I think Richie hit the ball off the end of the bat, and Gary reached for it just a little too soon. It's a tough one for any pitcher to field.
So hit number 4 for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and now it's Al Oliver. He popped to short in the first inning, fly ball to Geronimo in the fourth. Hebner at first, pitch swung on, fly ball hit back into deep left center field. Foster to the warning track. It's gone, a home run. Al Oliver has taken Gary Nolan out of here to left center field, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have gone out in front 2-1 here in the 6th inning. That's the first Pittsburgh homer in this league championship series, and it is a big one, because that one has sent the Pirates out in front by a run.
Marty, that's the second home run that Al Oliver's hit off Gary Nolan this year, and both of them have gone the same way, in the same spot, and same pitch. A fastball down and away, and Oliver hit the ball hard. There's no doubt about it. It looked like Foster might have a chance, but this got out of there pretty good.
That brings up Willie Stargell. He swings and fouls the first pitch. Well, we played comeback baseball in the first game. We'll have to do it here tonight. 5 hits now for the Bucks, and a big 2-run homer to left center by Oliver to put him out in front 2-1. Stargell checking his swing. It's a ball, and it's 1-1. Stargell has struck out. He's popped to third, and now the Pirates have had 2 hits in each of the last 2 innings off Nolan. Stargell with a foul ball back. Ball and 2 strikes to him. Second time in the series that Pittsburgh has led. Reds came back Saturday after spotting him 2 in the second to win that one going away 8-3. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 swinging. Stargell has struck out for the second time, and Gary has strikeout number 5. Now Parker, hitless and 2 times up. He's line to right, he's fly to left. Swing and a miss. Parker really uncoiling in a bid to get that pitch. Pittsburgh 2, Cincinnati 1. We got a homer from Concepcion in the second. They've got a 2-run blast from Oliver here in the 6th inning. Here's a fly ball hit well into left center field. Geronimo and Foster. Foster it is, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. Most productive 6 for Pittsburgh. 2 runs, 2 hits. As we go to the 7th inning, it's the Pirates 2, the Reds 1. Well, we got to go to work. We've had only 1 hit through 6 innings off Candelaria, who now is out in front in this game by a score of 2-1, thanks to Al Oliver's home run. We've got the big guys coming up in the 7th inning here to tell you about it and call the 7th once again. Here's Joe.
Hi, Monty. Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, and Tony Perez in the 7th inning for the Reds. They trail now 2-1. John Candelaria has struck out 11, has allowed just one hit through the 6th inning. A one hit, Dave Concepcion's home run in the 2nd inning with 2 outs. Joe Morgan, up for the 3rd time in the ball game, was called out on strikes in the 1st inning. Hit a fly ball to Zisk in left field in the 4th. The Reds now need one to get even with them. Blake Carroll throwing in the Reds bullpen. No activity in the Pirate pen. Candelaria winds and delivers, and Morgan takes it high and inside the ball. Boston leading the Oakland A's 4-0. At Oakland, here the Reds trail 2-1, 7th inning. Candelaria the 1-0. Morgan bunts and fouls, and it's 1-1. Joe trying to push one third base side. A ball to strike. All 3 of the runs produced in the ball game have come on home runs. The Pirates have had 5 hits in the game. Candelaria looking into Sanguian. Has his sign and the 1-1 delivery. That's high. It's 2 balls, 1 strike to Joe Morgan. Well, we need a base runner bad. Candelaria has not walked anyone, nor has Gary Nolan. Candelaria's wind in the 2-1. That's swung on and a very high pop in shallow right. Rennie Stennett there waiting, now moves in a step and makes the catch, 1 away. With 1 down, that brings Johnny Bench to the plate. John has struck out both times up tonight. Went down swinging in the 1st inning, again in the 4th. Outfield well around to the left for John, giving him a lot of room in right center field. Candelaria delivers, that swung on and popped foul. Backing out of play, 0-1. Well, base on balls hurt the Pirates, particularly in the 1st game, and Royce walked 4. Pirates walked 2 in the 2nd game. Candelaria has not walked anyone here in the 3rd game. There's 10 swings and misses a fastball. It's 0-2. Down has struck out 6 times in the championship series. Candelaria out in front, 0-2 to Bench. A wind to pitch. Swung on and fouled, straight back and out of play. Now holding 0-2. Pirates leading at 2-1. After 5.5 innings, Boston leads Oakland 4-0. Candelaria again the 0-2. Swung on a ground ball. Reynolds has it at short. His long throw is a bobble as Nigel can't hang on to it. That'll be an error charged to shortstop Craig Reynolds. First error in the ball game and could be a big break for the Reds. That'll bring Tony Perez to the plate, and as Marty pointed out, Tony has got Candelaria twice this year, beat him a ball game, his first start against the Reds, and hit one here against Candelaria the last time in. Now, they got Bench at first base with 1 away. The error charged to Craig Reynolds, the Pirate shortstop. So Candelaria will be pitching from the stretch position for the first time. He delivers, and that swung on and fouled back and out of play. First error in the series by the Pirates. The Reds, as Marty pointed out, Dave Concepcion making one Sunday. 0-1 to count to Tony. Perez has struck out and has hit a fly ball to right center field that Dave Parker gathered in. Outfield playing Tony straight away. Bench leads at first. Candelaria looking into Sanguian the stretch. He delivers, and Perez takes a fastball high, and it's 1-1. And now Ramon Hernandez and Dave Justy are up throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Clay Carroll continues to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. 1-1 to count to Perez with one out. Bench at first base. Candelaria to the belt, and he throws over to first, and Bench steps back easily. Candelaria was not a particular good move to first base. Again the stretch, and the pitch that's taken on the inside corner, called strike, and it's 1-2. Candelaria, a ball, 2 strikes now with Tony Perez. Bench leads at first. The stretch. And the 1-2. Swung on and missed. And it's 12 strikeouts for John Candelaria, and what a job he is doing. Right now, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. Artist Clint Orleman has captured Johnny Bench's playoff homer of 1972 on canvas, and prints of the home run are available at 580 Gibson News. For more details, call the Reds office.
All right, here's George Foster with 2 out and Bench at first base. George, both times of the plate, has hit fly balls to Richie Zisk in left field. Candelaria sets and delivers, and Foster checks his swing, but did he go too far? And they say, no, sir. Billy Williams, the first base umpire, says he did not. Oh, it's 1 ball, no strikes, and now Willie Stargell goes over to the mound to say something to John Candelaria. Frank Pulley immediately checked with Billy Williams, the first base umpire, and Williams put out both hands, saying, no, sir. Foster hit an even 300 on the year with 23 home runs, 78 RBI. 1-0 the count. They wait on Foster to get into the batter's box. And now George is set. Candelaria looks into Sanguillen. Shade George just a step forward left. The pitch. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-1. John Candelaria really putting on a performance here tonight. He struck out 12, has allowed the Reds just 1 hit, and that being Dave Concepcion's home run in the second inning. He's on deck. Candelaria slowed down a bit, mostly because of Foster. Here's 1-1 delivery. Bench goes. The pitch is taken to throw to second, and it's not in time. And Bench is 12 to 12, and the ball's into right center field, and Bench will go in easily to third base. Sanguillen's throw gets through the shortstop, Craig Reynolds, and Bench is 12 for 12 this year in stolen bases. He moves on to third base on a throwing error charged to Manny Sanguillen. Count 2 balls, 1 strike to George Foster. John, very successful in stealing bases this year. 12 for 12 now. So the second error in the inning by the Pirates. Well, for a base hit right now. Candelaria will take the windup now with Bench at third base. John edging down the line as Hebner blushing back. Now Candelaria winds and Foster backs away from the plate. Justian Hernandez still throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Clay Carroll has stopped throwing down in the Reds bullpen. I think Clay is ready to go if needed. And Concepcion on deck with 2 out. 2-1 the count. Now Candelaria delivers, and Foster swings and fouls to the screen, and the count evens 2-2. Oh, a lot of pressure on a rookie, and to this point, he has really come through in magnificent fashion. Boy, he has pitched the ball game. But not out of trouble yet. Candelaria taking his time. He's still looking in, and now Foster asks for time as he backs away from the plate. 2-1, Pirates leading. Al Oliver's 2-run homer in the 6th inning over the fence in left center field with Richie Hebner on. All right, now the 2-2 on the way. High and outside with the fastball, and a full count for the first time in the ball game on George Foster that Candelaria has done 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bench at third base. Candelaria, 3-2 with Foster, 2 away. Now Foster backs away from the plate again. George back in now, and again Candelaria looks to send in his catcher, and George again backs away from the plate. George getting the crowd excited here at Three Rivers. All right, Foster back in. Candelaria into the line and delivers. High and outside, ball 4. And Candelaria saying something to George Foster, and that's the first walk in the ball game. And Yahtzee's at first base now with 2 away, and Dave Concepcion. Willie Stargell again heads to the mound to have something to say to Candelaria. Now Stennett comes in to talk to Candelaria, and apparently Foster's antics at the plate has upset Candelaria just a bit. Well, here's Dave Concepcion, and David is responsible for 1 run, a home run in the 2nd inning. 1 for 2 was called out on strikes in the 5th inning. He was Candelaria's 9th strikeout victim. Reds with a stolen base. The Pirates have committed 2 errors here in the inning. The stretch and the pitch, that swung on and popped out of play. Foul over behind the Pirate dugout. 0-1 to count. Well, the Reds trying to get even with the Pirates here in the 7th inning. Dusty and Hernandez continue to throw in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Ken Griffey on deck. Outfield is straight away. Foster leads at first, bench at third, the pitch. Swung on, bouncer up the middle, Stennett is there. He has it, goes to the bag, and the first to Foster, and that's it for the Reds. So in the inning, no runs, no hits. There are 2 Pirate errors, and 2 runners left on base, and it's the middle of the 7th. It's the Pirates 2, the Reds 1. Well, a new pitcher for the Reds, it's Clay Carroll, and for Clay, this will be his first appearance in the championship series. On the year, Clay appeared in 56 games, winning 7 and losing 5, with a .263 earned run average. He will face Richie Zisk, Manny Sanguin, and Craig Reynolds here in the 7th inning. The Reds trailing 2-1. Reds with just 1 hit off John Candelaria through 7 innings. Gary Nolan worked 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, struck out 5, did not walk anyone, and both runs earned runs. John Candelaria has been just super here tonight. Well, we got 2 more punches at him, but right now we got to get the Pirates out. As Richie Zisk steps in. Zisk is 1 for 2, singled his last time up in center field. Harold's first pitch is outside and off the middle. Johnny Bench to the backstop, 0-1. Gary Nolan pitching very good baseball tonight. Right now we trail 1-0 delivery up high with a fastball and it's 2-0. Harrell back to the plate. High, 3 balls, no strikes to Richie Zisk. Johnny Bench to the mound to talk with Carroll. Now heads back to the plate. Play 3 balls, no strikes with Zisk. After 6 innings now at Oakland, it's Boston 4, Oakland 1. He's getting a run in the bottom half of the 6th. Harrell's 3-0 delivery. This looks at a strike, 3-1. And just 1 walk in the ball game. That was to George Foster in the 7th inning, but there's the 2nd walk in the ball game as Carroll walks Richie Zisk. Pitch on inside. So Zisk leads off the inning, drawing a walk from Clay Carroll, and that brings Manny Sanguillen to the plate. Sanguillen 1-2. He hit a fly ball to left in the 2nd inning and single to right in the 5th. Richie Zisk at first base. There are no outs. Craig Reynolds on deck. Carroll the stretch and the pitch. There goes the run. The pitch is swung on and fouled. And a good job by Manny Sanguillen. A hit and run, and Manny actually jumped almost across the plate to get a piece of that ball. 0-1 the count to Manny Sanguillen.
The most strikeouts you had in a regular season game is 13 on June 26th versus the Chicago Cubs. It's tied for second high in the league. Montecito with San Francisco at 14, and they've already the Giants.
0-1 the count. This leads at first, the stretch. And the pitch. That swung on, little chopper to the mound. Carroll up, he throws on to Perez. They get Sanguillen, but moving to second base is Richie Zisk. Ball about halfway out to the mound where Clay fielded and threw to Perez. So 1 away, and Zisk now at second base, and that will bring Craig Reynolds to the plate for the first time. Tavares was hit for in the 5th inning by Ed Kirkpatrick, and Reynolds went into the game at shortstop in the 6th. So Reynolds up for the first time. Craig with a .224 batting average on the season, 4 RBIs. This is first appearance in the championship playoff. Carroll the stretch and the pitch, and Reynolds swings ground ball. Morgan backhand, turns, throws to Perez. They got him, and moving to third base is Richie Zisk. Well, Joe going to his right, backhanding and throwing Reynolds out easily. 2 away. That brings pitcher John Candelaria to the plate, and well, he gets exactly what he deserves, and that is a standing ovation from almost everyone here at Three River Stadium. Out of near 45,000, and every one of them up. Pitch to Candelaria, swung on and fouled on a play. Richie Zisk at third base with 2 outs. Rennie Stennett waiting on deck. Candelaria was struck out both times to the plate. Carroll into the line and delivers. That swung on and fouled at the plate, and count 0-2. Well, Boston did not score in the 7th inning. They lead the A's 4-1. Oakland at bat now in the bottom half of the 7th. Harrell's 0-2 delivery. That's taken strike-free call against the outside corner. So Clay gets his first strikeout, and that's it for the Pirates in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on base. And after 7, the Pirates 2, the Reds 1. Well, we've gone through 7. The Reds a run on just 1 hit, no errors. The Pirates 2 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. Kenny Griffey to lead it off in the 8th. And back to the action. Here's Marty.
Okay, Joe. Griffey tonight is 0 for 2. He struck out 1 of 12 that Candelaria has had up to this point. That came in the 2nd, a called third strike, and then he bounced out to shortstop in the 5th. Candelaria season high at strikeouts in 1 game 13 against the Chicago Cubs. He has rung up 12 tonight, and his only walk issued to George Foster in the 7th when the Reds had him at first and third and 2 down after that walk, and Davey hit into a force play at second to end the threat. So we need a couple of runs here, or else we'll be back tomorrow night for the 4th game. Take anything at all away from John Candelaria. He has simply been outstanding. Okay, Griffey is ready. Hebner is in at third base. Candelaria throws to the plate. Griffey takes the first pitch to third for strike one. Other than Concepcion's home run, the Reds have not had anything remotely resembling another base hit. Geronimo on deck, and then the pitcher Carroll scheduled to hit, but Will McEnany is loosening in the Cincinnati bullpen. Griffey takes the pitch down and away, 1-1. One-run games during the season. The Reds won 32 and lost 20, while Pittsburgh won 17 and lost 20. 1-1 pitch on the way. Griffey takes it on the inside edge of the letters for strike two. Well, let's don't make it easy for him the rest of the way. Let's take our hacks up there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ken Griffey, leading off the Cincinnati 8th inning, with the Pirates out in front of the game 2-1. Hebner still remaining in at third, but is back maybe a step or two. Candelaria kicks, deals. Griffey struck out on a bad pitch as he went after a breaking ball way outside, and that's number 13 for the Candyman.
Candelaria, 15 strikeouts, tying in with Tom Seaver for the National League Championship Series record for one game.
That strikeout ties Candelaria for the National League Championship Series record. Tom Seaver also had 13 strikeouts in a game. Geronimo swings and misses an up pass ball up. He's been up twice. He has struck out twice. Joe Coleman has 14 strikeouts for the Tigers in the American League against Oakland in 72. That's a major league record. He swings and misses at that pitch and lost his bat as it rolls out behind the mound. 0-2 the count on Geronimo. Merv Redmond has moved on deck to bat for Clay Carroll. Alex Gramis goes out to retrieve the bat from his third base coaching box spot. John Candelaria trying to make that home run by Al Oliver in the 6th inning stand up. Give the Pirates their first win in this series. Strike 2 on Geronimo. He's ready and throwing, and that is strike 3 call. So that strikeout ties the Major League Championship Series record as he has picked up his 14th. That'll bring up Merv Redmond with 2 down. Merv, a pinch hitter in Sunday's game, at a fly ball to deep right field. During the year, batted .239 with 2 homers and 19 runs batted in. Still, the Reds with only 1 hit. The Concepcion home run in the 2nd. Candelaria to the plate. Redmond takes it high and inside, a ball. So we'll have a new pitcher when the Pirates come to bat in the bottom of the inning, and that'll be left-hander Will McEnany. Pirates have had 5 hits. All of them off the starter Gary Nolan, who went the first 6. 2 balls and no strikes on Merv.
Here's the attendance. Here's the attendance. 46,355.
Well, the attendance tonight, 46,355, which is more than the Pirate front office had expected to have. And Redmond now is a pitch away from getting a walk, as Candelaria has fallen behind at 3-0. Only in 1 inning has the Pirate bullpen been active. That was in the 7th when Justy and Hernandez were throwing. Redmond trying to get on with 2 down for Pete Rose. Here comes the 3-0 delivery. And that is ball 4 high, and Merv is on with Candelaria's second walk.
is relying on Dow.
Pete is due. He has struck out, flied to right, and lined out to right field. Somebody's going to get up to begin throwing in the Pirate bullpen. It looks like Dave Justy will start. At the field, he's going to be joined again by the left-hander, Ramon Hernandez. We have not seen either of them in this series. The Reds have won by such lopsided scores in the first two games. Their services were not needed. Bretman leading at first base. Candelaria pitches to Rose. One on, fly ball, left field, well hit. It's got a chance. The Reds go out in front, 3-2. Pete Rose has just taken Candelaria into the seats in left field with Bretman on base, and the Reds have bolted out in front by a score of 3-2. Well, we've had 2 hits in the game, and both of them have been home runs. Candelaria finds himself down for the second time tonight as Rose really got into one. In contrast to Concepcion's homer, who got dropped over the inner wall in left field, Rose's shot found its way into the stands in deep left field to make it a 3-2 ball game.
Well, Marty, that was another breaking ball, and I think Pete was kind of looking for it, guessing, because usually ball in on him, he doesn't handle really that well, but I think he kind of bailed and just took a shot and he's going to get one in there, and that he did.
That he did. Here's Joe Morgan, and the first pitch is a curve too much inside. Joe has struck out, fly to left, pop to second. Candelaria has been highly successful. Swung on, fly ball hit down the right field line. That ball is going to be in for a base hit. It bounds over the fence, and Joe will go to second base with a stand-up ground rule double. The 8th inning has been an amazing inning for Candelaria against Cincinnati. It has been a bad luck inning in every game he has pitched against us. And now Don Osborne, the pitching coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates, is on his way to the mound. Dave Justy is up throwing in the Pirate bullpen, a right-hander, and you've got Johnny Bench coming to the plate, and we may well see a pitching change right here. We can think back on both games in which Candelaria has faced us, and as we pointed out, in both 8th innings of those 2 games, Perez hit home runs against him, once in Cincinnati to beat him, the other here to put us briefly out in front before the Pirates came back. And now tonight in the 8th, after Griffey and Geronimo had struck out, Bretman pinch hitting for Carroll, got a walk, and Pete Rose hit one into the seats in left field to make it 3-2, and Morgan is double to right. The call has gone down to the Pirate bullpen for right-hander Dave Justy. So here at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, we've got a break in the action. Well, John Candelaria has just run to the Pittsburgh Pirate dugout amidst a standing ovation, which this young man so richly deserves after a brilliant pitching performance tonight, although he leaves trailing by 1 run, 3-2, and right-hander Dave Justy has come on in relief. Now we'd like to pass along a message for the fans back in Cincinnati and hope that we can again use it in our post-game celebration, if that be the case tonight. Fans are advised not to go to the airport in the event that this championship series is decided tonight to meet the team. The team will not be seen at all at the airport. The Reds will go directly to Fountain Square, where a welcome home ceremony is planned. There will be a band on the square shortly after the game if the Reds win this game. Fans are invited to head downtown and join the fun. The Reds will probably get downtown about 2 or 2:30 in the morning. WLW Radio will be keeping fans posted on the goings-on at the square and on the arrival of the team. So again, we'll remind you that if you want to greet the Reds when they return home, if we clinch this league championship series tonight, there will be a welcome home ceremony at Fountain Square sometime after 2 o'clock. 2 buses will come right out on the runway to pick them up as they get off the airplane. And if this game in the series is decided tonight and the Reds win the National League pennant, there will be a big welcome home ceremony down at Fountain Square sometime about 2 or 2:30 tomorrow morning. Again, we'll be using this in the post-game wrap-up if we win this ball game. And right now, we've got a 1-run lead. We've got a new Pittsburgh pitcher and right-hander Dave Justy. And he is on to work to Johnny Bench with Joe Morgan at second base. 2 runs in and 2 men out. Bench is also due. He has struck out twice and reached on a throwing error by shortstop Craig Reynolds. Justy checks Morgan. He delivers, and Bench takes it outside, ball 1. During the year, Justy was 5-4. In 61 relief appearances, he had a .293 earned run average and saved 17 games for Pittsburgh. But, of course, not in a saving situation by any stretch of the imagination tonight. A base hit of any distance means another Reds run. Stennett playing games with Morgan. The 1-0 to bench. Swung on a looper into right field, but it's going to hang up long enough for Parker to get there, and the side retired. The Cincinnati in the 8th inning, 2 runs on 2 base hits. No errors and 1 man left on. And after 7 1/2, the Reds 3 and the Pirates 2. Here's a message for Red souvenir collectors. The official championship series program is available by mail from the Reds for only $2. The book is a thick 72 pages, and it's jammed with color pictures, stories, and statistics. The center spread features a big color photo of the Reds team. To get your copy, send $2 to Reds 1975 Championship Series Program, Department 100, Box 1970, Cincinnati. That address once again, Reds 1975 Championship Series Program, Department 100, Box 1970, Cincinnati. Well, it's the bottom of the 8th inning, and another pitcher is on for the Cincinnati Reds in the left-hander, Will McEnany. We saw a super pitching effort by that other young lion out of our bullpen, Wally Eastwick, on Sunday. And now it's McEnany charged with the responsibility of trying to get 6 outs. 6 outs that would give the Reds a 1975 National League pennant. McEnany was 5-2 in 70 relief appearances, a .247 earned run average. And he had 15 saves, and that's exactly what he's coming on to try and get here tonight. Leading it off for the Pirates will be Rennie Stennett, as McEnany will be faced with the big bats in the Pirate lineup over the last couple of innings of play. Stennett has hit a fly to right, he's hit a fly ball to deep center, and he has bounced out short to first. It was 1-0 Cincinnati. It was 2-1 Pittsburgh. It is now 3-2 Cincinnati, as home runs have accounted for all the runs in the game. Stennett bounces one to Morgan. Joe has it. He throws to Tony, and we're 5 outs away. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. Plan ahead and be in the center of all the action in 76 with Cincinnati Reds Action Plan season tickets. For information and details, call or write the Reds Season Sales Office.
Here's Richie Hebner, a ground ball at first base. Tony Perez is up with it and races to the bag to get Hebner for out number 2. So Stennett is grounded to second. Hebner has bounced to first. The Reds are 4 outs away from the National League pennant. And here is Al Oliver, the man who has accounted for both Pittsburgh runs with a homer to left center in the 6th inning. McEnany kicks and deals. Oliver takes a strike at the knees. The Reds are leading 3-2. There are 2 outs in the Pirate 8th inning. Oliver waiting on the 0-1. He takes a fastball outside, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. A Pete Rose homer in the top of this inning with Merv Bretman aboard has sent the Reds out in front by a run. The 1-1 to Oliver. Strike 2 is called as McEnany keeps the ball away from him. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Al Oliver. Willie Stargell is on deck with 2 outs. The Reds outfield is straight away. Mack back to the plate. Ground ball hit to second. Morgan has it. He throws to first, and we're 3 outs away from the National League pennant as the Pirates have gone out in order here in the 8th inning. After 8 complete, it's the Reds 3 and the Pirates 2. Well, we're in the top of the 9th inning, and Tony Perez will lead things off for the Cincinnati Reds. Tony, who has been up 3 times tonight with 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to right field. He'll be facing Dave Justy for the first time as Dave came out of the Pirate bullpen in the 8th inning following Pete Rose's homer and Joe Morgan's double to get Johnny Bench on a fly ball to right field to end any further scoring for the Big Red Machine. As we mentioned, this is Dave Justy's first appearance in the 1975 National League Championship Series. He's looking to Sanguilla. He is pitching to Tony Perez, and Perez swings and hits a fly ball into shallow right. Parker quickly in, waiting, calling, and makes the catch. 1 out. We'll bring up George Foster as Perez is retired on a pitch. George has hit 2 fly balls to left. He has also had 1 of 2 walks that John Candelaria allowed, and the pitching line on Candelaria, 7 2/3. He gave up 3 hits, 3 3 runs all earned. He struck out 14 and walked 2. 14 strikeouts, tied a Major League Championship Series record. Foster with 1 out. Inning number 9. The Reds leading the Pirates 3-2. Here's Justy's pitch, and Foster takes it high a ball. Looking ahead to the Pittsburgh 9th inning, they're going to have the Hammers, Willie Stargell, Dave Parker, and Richie Zisk coming to the plate. Justy's 1-0 to Foster. Swung on and hit very high in the air. Left side, heading toward the seats as Hebner and Reynolds come over. They'll not have a play. 1-1. Time is running out on the Oakland Athletics. They are batting in the bottom of the 8th and trailing the Boston Red Sox 5-1. As Darrell Johnson's Red Sox have scored another run, this one in the top of the 8th. And the A's are now 4 runs down and batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Concepcion is on deck. Justy's 1-1. Foster takes it low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now the 2-1 pitch. That's strike 2 call on the outside part of the plate. 2-2. This has been a truly outstanding game. By far the best game of any of the 3 that have been played yet. First 2 games, runaways for Cincinnati. But this one has really been something to behold. Foster shoots 1 foul and out of play. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gary Nolan off the hook on Pete Rose's 8th inning home run. The man who can win this game, if things continue as they are right now, would be Clay Carroll. Redmond hit for him in the 8th, and then Rose homered to give the Reds a 1-run lead. Justy is even with Foster, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 man out. Concepcion will hit next. Justy taking his time. Now the veteran rocks, kicks, and deals. Foster swings and misses. Justy has his first strikeout, and that's a 15th, recorded by Pittsburgh pitching tonight. 2 away. Davey hit the home run of the 2nd that had the Reds out in front 1-0 until the 6th inning when Oliver homered to give the Pirates an edge. His only hit in 3 times up. Dusty trying to retire the Reds in order in the 9th. He delivers. David takes ball 1 low and outside. Both bullpens, well, we were going to say quiet. The Pirate bullpen is, but right-hander Raleigh Eastwood is loosening for Cincinnati. That would certainly cause speculation as far as the Pirate 9th. Strike to him, 1-1, because the first 2 hitters, Stargell and Parker, are left-handed batters. Then Richie Zisk, a right-handed hitter. So if McEnany has good success against the first 2, you may see Eastwood come on to try and get Zisk. 1-1 the count. Justy with Concepcion. Just missing. It's ball 2. The Reds 3, the Pirates 2. There have been a total of 8 hits in the game. The Pirates have had 5. The Reds 3, but 2 of them home runs. Strike to him, 2-2. $46,355 here at Three River Stadium tonight. Davey batting with 2 out and the base is empty. Justy throwing to break-even pitch plate where Concepcion fouls it to the screen. And the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dave Justy goes to rubbing up the new baseball. Now comes back on top of the pitching mound, goes to the rosin bag. Concepcion back in the batter's box. Shaking off the Sanguian sign. Shaking it off again. Now coming with a 2-2. David swings, hits a fly ball into center. In is Oliver, and the side retired in order. The Reds are up and down in the 9th inning, and now we got to hold it. As we go to the bottom of the 9th, the Reds 3, the Pirates 2. this is it. We're in the bottom of the ninth inning, and this Lee River Stadium crowd is trying to get the Bucks going. They need 1 run to tie. They need 2 runs to send it to a 4th game, and Paul McInerney, who pitched super 8th inning baseball against Bennett, Hefner, and Oliver, 3 pretty tough hitters, on ground ball. It'll be Willie Stargell to begin the ninth. He has struck out. He has popped the 3rd, and he has struck out again. Left-hander against left-hander. The defense pulling around well to the right. Concepcion maybe 5 steps from playing Stargell dead up the middle. Morgan midway between 1st and 2nd behind the back white line. Here's McInerney's pitch, and Stargell takes strike 1 to begin the 9th inning. Raleigh Eastwick still leisurely throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Frank Pulley now calling time and looking out toward the right side, and well, now Johnny Bench, who was up out of the crowd, situates himself back behind the plate. McInerney has the sign. The 0-1 pitch to Stargell. Low and outside, it's 1-1. Now Concepcion is a step to the first base side of second. Stargell a base hit into left field, right into the hole normally reserved for the shortstop. Well, the Pirates are coming out battling here in the 9th inning as Stargell singles to left. And that brings up Dave Parker, 0 for 3. A line drive to right and fly balls to left field twice. Willie Randolph is coming in at first base to run for Willie Stargell. So the Pirates have the tying run at first base, and they've got a speedy youngster in Willie Randolph running for Stargell. Here's Dave Parker. He's 0 for 3 tonight. The infield a double play depth. McInerney with a look in. And the pitch. Parker swings and fouls. Strike 1 as the ball bounds into the Pirate dugout. There has not been a double play turn tonight. And boy, what a good time for one right now. The Reds 3, the Pirates 2. 9th inning, Randolph at first. McInerney's 0-1 to Parker. Swung on and fouled again at strike 2. You've got Richie Zisk on deck. As we mentioned, while the Reds were hitting in the 9th, he's a right-handed batter, and you've got Eastwick, who has been throwing now for the better part of an inning in the Cincinnati bullpen down the left field line. It is pandemonium here at Three Rivers. The 2-strike pitch to Parker. See, got around on it. That's strike 3, and that's 1 out here in the 9th inning. Now Sparky Anderson is on his way to the mound, and I would imagine that he's going to call on Raleigh Eastwick right now. A big out as Parker tried to check his swing but could not do it. And now a real meeting on the mound involving everybody in the infield with the exception of Tony Perez, and Sparky is called for Raleigh Eastwick. So Will McInerney goes an inning and 1/3, allows a base hit, and picks up a big strikeout. And it'll be the right-hander from Haddonfield, New Jersey, Raleigh Eastwick, who, as you know, pitched 3 innings of one-hit shutout baseball Sunday to record the only save that we have witnessed so far in this series. Eastwick taking the walk in from the left field bullpen. And Richie Zisk will be the man he will be first basing, and we noted that Willie Randolph did some running up the right field foul line to get loose while he has the opportunity here. So McInerney did a fine job as he comes toward the Cincinnati dugout. We will tell you that if this game ends as the score stands right now, both Joe and myself will be down in the clubhouse for the post-game celebration, and I'll tell you one thing, talk about certainties, it will indeed be a wild one. Eastwick has just now reached the Three River Stadium mound. Here's a young man who during the course of the 75 season won 5 and lost 3 with a .260 earned run average. He made 58 appearances. He had 22 saves. He came in Sunday and threw absolutely nothing but fire for 3 innings. There have been meetings of the infield. There has been a meeting of the outfielders, Foster, Geronimo, and Griffey. The runner at first base, Willie Randolph, represents the tying run. If the Pirates can get him around. Starch will open the ninth with a base hit to left. Parker has struck out swinging. And now Eastwick is taking his warm-up to Johnny Bench in preparation for pitching to Richie Zisk. Davey Concepcion homered in the second inning to give the Reds a 1-0 lead. And it remained that way until Al Oliver, following a Richie Hebner infield hit off Gary Nolan's glove in the sixth inning, homered to left center field to make it 2-1 Pittsburgh. In the eighth, after Candelaria had struck out Griffey and Geronimo, Merv Retman, batting for Clay Carroll, got a walk. And Pete Rose jumped on what appeared to be a breaking ball and hammered it into the seats and left to give the Reds a 3-2 lead. That's the way it is right now as Eastwick, after meeting with Concepcion and Morgan, climbs back atop the summit to work the Pirate left fielder Richie Zisk. He has struck out, he has singled, he has walked, so he's been on 2 times tonight. He has home run power. He has 20 during the year. Randolph leading at first base. Eastwick stretches. He delivers. The pitch is swung on and a base hit to left field. Foster up with the ball as Randolph takes the turn and holds at second base. And Zisk has greeted Eastwick's first pitch with a single to left to put Pirate runners at first and second and bring on Manny Sanguillen. Pedro Bourbon has now started to throw in our bullpen. The Bucs are trying to pull it out as they've had 2 singles in the ninth, and in between a strikeout of Parker. Sanguillen 1 for 3, a base hit to right in the fifth. Eastwick studies the sign. He checks Randolph. He delivers to Sanguillen. Swung on and fouled into the seats back behind the Pirate dugout. Strike 1. Raleigh looking around. Cincinnati outfield straight away for Sanguillen, and now again Frank Pulley looking out toward center field. Apparently everything is all right. Manny Sanguillen, an outstanding bad ball hitter. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He swings and he misses, and he was trying to take it out of here with that cut. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Craig Reynolds is on deck. The Pirate shortstop. Randolph at second base. Zisk at first. 1 out. The Reds infield looking for the ground ball. Raleigh Eastwick comes to the belt. The pause in the pitch. Sanguillen pops it up on the left side. Calling for it is Concepcion, and Rose makes the catch, and they're 2 away. So now the Pirates are down to their final out, and the Reds are 1 out away from the 1975 National League pennant. And Bobby Robertson is going to be called on by Danny Murtaugh to hit for Craig Reynolds. Bob Robertson, the man who will come to the plate and try and keep the ninth inning alive and try to get somebody across here. Robertson has been up twice in the series. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out 1 time. During the year, hit .274 with 6 homers and 18 RBIs. Trying to keep it alive for the men of Danny Murtaugh and Raleigh Eastwick trying to nail it down. The crowd here is on its feet. So Robertson, a right-handed batter, stepping in. Eastwick windmilling his right arm, and now 3 or 4 umpires calling timeout as apparently some fans out in left and right center are throwing things out on the field, and the appropriate announcement has just been made. Robertson standing off to the left of the plate, taking his cuts. The Reds are 1 man away from winning the 1975 National League pennant and going on into the World Series to meet, apparently at this point, the Boston Red Sox in the series that would get underway at Fenway Park on Saturday afternoon. But the A's have scored 2 in the bottom half of the 8th inning and now trail that one 5-3. Now, the focal point of interest. Raleigh Eastwick, a rookie, and Bob Robertson, a veteran. And again, time is called as again something has been thrown out of the seats in right center field. Credit the umpires in making sure everything is of the optimum condition before Eastwick delivers to Robertson. The tying run at second, the go-ahead run and winning run at first base in Richie Zisk and Bob Robertson, the man charged with the responsibility of, in the least, trying to keep the ninth inning alive for Pittsburgh. Here's Eastwick's stretch. Here's the pitch to the plate. It is taken inside, ball one. Raleigh came on to face Zisk. He gave up a base hit to left. Sanguillen popped to Rose. Robertson waiting. Here comes the 1-0 to the plate. Swung on and missed, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pedro Bourbon still loosening in the Reds bullpen. It's 3-2 Cincinnati with 2 out and 2 out on the Pirate ninth. Eastwick looking into bench. He goes to the belt. The 1-1 to Robertson is inside. It's ball 2. It bounds away from Johnny Bench, but not far enough to allow anybody to advance. 2 balls and 1 strike. Should Robertson get on, we'd have another pinch hitter for the pitcher, Dave Justy. Nobody as yet has moved on deck, although Justy is doing so right now. 2 balls and a strike. Eastwick against Robertson. The next pitch coming to the plate. Swung on and missed. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes as Robertson takes it foul and Bench hangs on. So the Reds are now a strike away from the 75 National League pennant. Robertson away from the plate. He moves back in. Randolph taking his lead at second. Zisk at first. Eastwick looking down to Bench, who hangs aside. The stretch and the pitch, and it's up high, and it's a full count. So with 2 out here in the Pirate ninth inning, Eastwick has gone as far as he can go with Bob Robertson. The runners will be on the move. Foster is deep in left. Geronimo shading him toward left center. Big gap in right center for Bob Robertson. He's back out. He's back in. 3-2. The stretch by Eastwick to pitch, and it is hit. Popped up outside of first. Tony and Johnny Bench over, and it cannot be played as it hits on top of the Pirate dugout. A matter of inches, and that ball hitting just on the lip of the Pittsburgh Pirate dugout rope and bounding back into the seats. So Randolph back to second. Zisk taking the slow walk back to first. Eastwick to the mound. Morgan to second base. Bench to the catching spot, and Perez to first. Robertson has stopped in the on-deck circle to rub the bat handle up with a pine tar rag, and he's coming back to the plate. Reds 3, Pirates 2. An 8th inning homer by Pete Rose could be the blow that gives the Reds the title. Eastwick toes the rubber. He's looking. He stretches. The 3-2 pitch. It is ball 4, and the Pirates have the bases loaded. Raleigh Eastwick missed high with a fastball that fills the bases with Pirates. And Duffy Dyer will be the pinch hitter for Dave Justy. Well, the tension is so thick here, you can cut it with a knife. Eastwick losing Bobby Robertson, and now Danny Murtaugh has come out of the Pittsburgh Pirate dugout to confer with first base coach Jose Pagan. Duffy Dyer, it was thought by many, would be the Pirate catcher in this game tonight after the Reds stole 10 bases in 2 games. And now Sparky Anderson is running out to the mound to talk with Raleigh Eastwick. We told you that Bourbon has been throwing, and has been throwing ever since Eastwick vacated the bullpen to come out and pitch. It looked like Doc Ellis had gone out to first base to run, but now he comes back into the Pittsburgh dugout on a very, very brief meeting it is on the mound. 7 during the year with 3 home runs and 16 runs batted in, so not only the tying run, but the winning run in scoring position for Pittsburgh. Dyer, a right-handed batter. Eastwick out of the stretch delivers. Dyer takes the strike on the inside part of the plate, letter high. The Pirates are battling to stay alive in 1975. Randolph third, Zisk second, Robertson first. 2 men down. Here comes a 1-strike pitch to Dyer, and he takes it high, and it's a ball and 1 strike. Third base coach Bob Skinner pounding his house together in the third base box. Eastwick taking his time. Bourbon has now ceased throwing. The rookie looking in. He's ready with a 1-1 pitch. Dyer takes it just off the plate. It's ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Dyer watching him over carefully. The Pirates will run away with the sacks jammed and 2 out in the ninth. Now the 2-1 pitch to the plate. That is ball 3 inside. And Wally Eastwick is a pitch away from walking in the tying run. Dyer taking a look at Bob Skinner, now steps away from the plate. Rennie Stennett is on deck, a walk here, and we've got a tie game. 3-1, the count on Dyer, and here's the next pitch. That is strike 2 call. So again, Eastwick has gone full on a Pirate batter. He was 3-2 on Robertson. He walked him, missing high with a fastball, and now 3-2 on Dyer. Here comes the payoff pitch. It is ball 4, and the Pirates have tied it up. Wally Eastwick missed low and away to walk Dyer and force in Willie Randolph with a tying run. Now it's going to be Rennie Stennett. As Eastwick has given him a run the easy way, walking Dyer with the bases loaded to force in the tying run. And now Rennie Stennett will see what he can do about winning the game for the Pirates. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Both times, Robertson and Dyer, we were a strike away from ending it, but Eastwick could not get it, and now he's got to go to work on always dangerous Rennie Stennett. The pitch, taken for a strike. Now we've got to hope this one will go to extra innings. What a ball game it has been in Pittsburgh tonight. Raleigh glances to third. His 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled straight back, and Stennett is behind at 2 strikes. The only man that counts now in the Pirates' scheme of things is Richie Zisk. If they get him home, they have come from behind to win it. A 2-strike count on Stennett as Eastwick kicks and deals, and he takes it high, a fastball. Ramon Hernandez, a left-hander, making his way to the Pirate bullpen. If we go to the 10th, he'll be the new pitcher. 1-2 it is on Rennie Stennett. Bases loaded, 2 out. Pitch from Eastwick. Swung on and fouled away. This crowd is really caught up in the excitement here in Pittsburgh as the Pirates have tied the score. 1-2 and holding on Stennett. The pitch on the way, swung on and fouled away again. So he's making Eastwick work. Plate umpire Frank Foley getting a new supply of baseballs. Stennett back in the batter's box. Outfield pretty much straight away for him. Here's Eastwick's pitch. It is swung on and popped in the air into right center field. Geronimo coming in. He's calling for it, and this game will go to extra innings. Here in the 9th inning, Pittsburgh gets that all-important tying run on 2 hits, no errors with 3 men left on. And after 9 complete, in Game 3 of the 1975 National League Championship Series, the Reds 3, the Pirates 3. Well, we're into extra innings as the Pirates come back to tie it up on a bases-loaded walk to Duffy Dyer. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
The home of the $5,000 button, WLW Cincinnati. Reds Line, the Cincinnati Reds baseball talk show, will be back again this winter on WLW. Tune Reds Line every Monday night at 7:05 starting October 27th.
Ken Griffey leading off the 10th inning for Cincinnati against left-hander Ramon Hernandez. The pitch to him is a breaking ball, swung on and missed, and I'll tell you, this guy's got a dandy hook. Changes in the Pirate lineup. Bob Robertson remains in the game to play first base. Rennie Stennett has moved to second with Willie Randolph playing second base. 3-3 lockup, top of the 10th inning. Griffey waiting on the 0-1 pitch. He swings and misses at the curve and is quickly strike two. Meanwhile, the A's are batting in the bottom of the ninth and trailing the Boston Red Sox by a score of 5-3. The Reds were so very close in the ninth inning, but it did not happen, at least not yet. 0-2 the count on Griffey. He bunts one out in front of the plate. Here's Sanguillen up with it, throws to first, not in time, and Kenny has a bunt single. Ken Griffey bunting one out in front of the plate on a two-strike pitch. And by the time Sanguillen could come up firing, actually the throw was low. Robertson dug it out, and Griffey is on with a leadoff bunt single here in the 10th inning. Now it'll be Cesar Geronimo, who's been up 3 times and has struck out 3 times. Pedro Bourbon has gone back to throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Hebner looking for the bunt attempt. Here's Hernandez's pitch, and it's taken wide, a breaking ball that goes in and out of Sanguillen's mitt. In extra inning games during the season, the Pirates were 4-7. The Reds won 11 and lost 4. May sound redundant, but I'll tell you, this has been some kind of out-of-sight ball game. Unbelievable. Now the 1-0 pitch. Geronimo bunts it foul along the third baseline, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ed Armbruster has stepped into the on-deck circle to bat for Raleigh Eastwick. Pitching line on Will McInerney. He goes an inning and 1/3, gives up a hit. He was charged with a run on the bases-loaded walk to Duffy Dyer from Eastwick. McInerney had a strikeout, while Justy goes an inning and 1/3 for Pittsburgh, picks up a strikeout. Reds had no hits off of him. 3 hits off Candelaria. Now a bunt single by Griffey here in the 10th inning off Ramon Hernandez. 1-1 nope throw to first base, and Griffey is back in time. The Reds stealing 10 bases in the first 2 games in Cincinnati have had 1 steal tonight. That from Johnny Bench. Griffey has had 3 in the first 2 games. 1-1 pitch. And now a balk has been called, I believe. A balk has been called against Hernandez. First base umpire Billy Williams immediately called it. And now we don't need the bunt as Griffey moves to second on a balk by Hernandez. Let's see now what the Cincinnati strategy will be. That's his second balk called against Pittsburgh in this series. Ken Brett was charged with 1 on Sunday afternoon. Now will we see Geronimo trying to put a bunt down to get Griffey to third and force the infield in? That will have to wait a moment as Sanguillen goes to the mound to talk with Hernandez. And we've got activity underway in the Pirate bullpen. Left-hander Ken Brett, right-hander Kent DeColvey. And Bourbon still working for our side. It's the Reds 3 and the Pirates 3 in the 10th. Griffey bunted to begin the inning. He's moved to second on a Hernandez balk. Hebner still in at third, looking for a bunt attempt by Geronimo. The 1-1 pitch. Geronimo squares and takes it high, ball 2. 2-1. Nobody out in the top of the 10th. As far as Pittsburgh is concerned, in the bottom of the inning, they're going to have Hebner, Oliver, and Randolph. Now the 2-1. Nope. Hernandez steps back off the pitching rubber as Rennie Stennett plays games out at shortstop with Ken Griffey. Kenny taking his lead. Hernandez looking that way. Geronimo, he bunts at third base side, and that's a foul ball. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. It has been a yo-yo game. 1-0 Cincinnati, 2-1 Pittsburgh, 3-2 the Reds. And on a walk in the bottom of the ninth, the Duffy Dyer with a base to put down a fair bunt. Now waiting on the 2-2 pitch. And here it is. He swings. It's a ground ball right side. That's going to get the run of the third. Ball bobbled. Recovered in time. Randolph to get the out. But that's as good as a bunt as Griffey moves to third on the ground ball to the right side of the infield. So when all is said and done, Geronimo did his job, and now Ed Armbruster, a little-used rookie, in 1975, can really become a man of note right here in this situation. He had 185 and 65 at-bats during the year, had 12 hits, a double, and 2 runs batted in. The Pirate infield is in. Speedy Ken Griffey at third base, representing the go-ahead run, and now Hernandez backs off the mound. The left-hander stretches. He delivers, and Armbruster takes a fastball for strike one. Hernandez comes set. The 0-1 delivery. Swung on and hit in the air to center field. That's going to be deep enough to get Griffey in. Here's Oliver with a catch. Here's Kenny tagging. Here comes Oliver's throw. It'll be cut off by Randolph, and we go out in front 4-3. A sacrifice fly to center field by Ed Armbruster, and you cannot ask for any more than that, as he has gotten the go-ahead run across with a fly ball to center to send the Reds out in front by a run. It is all over in Oakland. The Boston Red Sox are the American League champions. They have defeated the A's 5-3. Rick Wise won it. Ken Holtzman lost it 49,358 at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, and now the Red Sox await the outcome of this series to see who they will face Saturday in the opening game of the World Series. Pete Rose at the plate. A curve misses outside. He was the man who put us out in front of the 8th with a home run to left field off Candelaria. And now the Reds have jumped out in front of the 10th on a fly ball by Armbruster to score Griffey from third. The 1-0 to Pete. That's a fastball for a strike. Count is even at 1-1. Pedro Bourbon coming in from the Cincinnati bullpen. He will be on the mound in the bottom of the inning. 1-1 the count. Rose's homer is only hit in 4 times. It was a big one. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and looped to right field. That will be a base hit. So Pete has his second straight hit. A wrong field single to right. As he took the turn, he decided to get quickly back to the bag at first base as the throw went to second, and he came diving back in. Here's Morgan. He's had a double and 4 times up following Pete's 8th inning homer. He doubled to right field. Pete leading at first base. Hernandez delivers. Morgan takes a pitch away from him. Ball 1. The Reds 4, the Pirates 3, 10th inning. Reds now with 5 hits. Morgan takes a pitch high. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Kenny Brett and Kent DeCalvi continue for Pittsburgh, and Jack Billingham has now gotten up for Cincinnati. Hernandez climbing back on top of the mound behind Morgan, 2 balls and no strikes. Rose a short lead at first against a holding Bob Robertson. Now a throw to first base, and Pete steps back. Hernandez directing his attention toward the plate. The 2-0 pitch. Swung on and hit hard to right center field. That ball is going to be through and all the way to the wall. Now Pete's got to get to the plate. Up for the ball is Oliver. He throws to Randolph. His throw to the plate. It'll not be in time. It's 5-3, and Pete is in with a run as Morgan goes to third. That'll be a 2-base hit for Joe Morgan. An RBI, and he goes to third on the throw home, and now the Reds have gone out in front by 2 big runs. Don Osborne, the Pittsburgh pitching coach, is on his way to the mound as Joe Morgan has delivered a run-scoring double to right center field, making it 5-3 Cincinnati. with Rose scoring all the way from first base on that blast into the gap in right center. And apparently we're going to get the right-hander Kent DeCalvey to come on and pitch to Johnny Bench. What a night this has been. That is all for Ramon Hernandez, as he goes 2/3 of an inning and is rocked with 3 hits, a couple of runs. The first run set up, of course, by his own misdoing, a balk called against him that allowed Ken Griffey to go to second base. And coming in will be the right-hander from Fairfield, Ohio, Kent DeCalvey. Absolutely drained at this point. DeCalvey pitched an inning plus Sunday, gave up 3 hits and a run. And he will be pitching to Johnny Bench when play is resumed. Here in the 10th inning, Ken Griffey opened and was swinging and missing at 2 sweeping breaking pitches from Ramon Hernandez and really fooled him by bunting the 2-strike pitch out in front of the plate and bunting safely for a base hit. He then moved to second when Hernandez was charged with a balk and advanced to third on Geronimo's ground ball to second. Ed Armbruster then batting for pitcher Raleigh Eastwick hit a fly ball to center field, scoring Griffey to give the Reds a 4-3 lead. Rose followed with a base hit to right, and Morgan has hit a rocket into right center field, his second double of the night, to get Pete in and make it 5-3 Cincinnati. Now it'll be Johnny Bench, who is 0 for 4, has struck out twice, has reached on a throwing error, has had a stolen base, our only steal of the night, and has hit a fly ball to right. Right-hander Kent DeCalvey, 28-year-old. Into his stretch, checks Morgan. Here's a pitch to Bench, high and away. Again, the 9th inning batter, rather the 10th inning batters for Pittsburgh, it'll be Hebner, Oliver, and Randolph. Bench trying to make it 6-3 if he can base hit DeCalvey and get Morgan in. The 1-0 is on the way. And that is a strike on the outside part of the plate, 1-1. Outfield pulled around toward left, a gigantic gap in right center. Bench looking for his first hit of the night, as Morgan leads at third base with 2 out. Now the 1-1. That is ball too high, and I think DeCalvey is questioning Pulley's call. 2-1. The Pirates staving off elimination, getting a bases-loaded walk to Duffy Dyer in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game. They have seen the Reds come back with 2 here in the 10th inning to lead by 2 runs. 2-1 the count. DeCalvey with Bench. To the belt. A look at Morgan to pitch. Strike swinging. 2-2. Again, we'll tell you that Boston has defeated Oakland 5-3. The World Series will open at Fenway Park Saturday, and boy, we hope we're there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in. Morgan at third base. DeCalvey in relief of Hernandez. Bench waiting. Here's a pitch. Here's a fly ball hit well to left. This going back. He makes the catch, and that's the inning. In the 10th for Cincinnati. 2 runs on 3 hits. No Pirate errors, and 1 man left on. After 9 1/2, it's the Reds 5 and the Pirates 3. Well, we're in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Reds enjoy a 2-run lead. That's the biggest lead we have had the good fortune of enjoying in this game tonight. And on the mound is right-hander Pedro Bourbon, making his first appearance in this league championship series. Petey winning 9 and losing 5 during the season with a 295 earned run average. He had 67 appearances and 5 saves, and he can pick up by far the most important save of his big league career right now. The win would go to Raleigh Eastwood if Bourbon can do a number on him here in the 10th inning. Hebner has had 2 of the 7 Pittsburgh hits and 4 times up. Petey is looking in. He winds and delivers to Hebner, who takes the fastball for a strike. Again, we'll remind you, we will be in the Reds clubhouse for on-the-spot interviews on our 2 post-game shows on most of these same stations. 1 ball and 1 strike. And we will again remind you to stay tuned for that message we passed along earlier concerning what will be going on in Cincinnati should the Reds win here tonight. Swing and a miss, strike 2. We will tell you that fans are not advised to go to the airport to meet the team because the team will not even come through the terminal. They will board buses right on the runway and go directly downtown to Fountain Square. Here's swing and a miss, and Hebner is struck out. 1 out of the home 10th inning as Pedro Bourbon has just blown Richie Hebner away with a screaming ball, and here's Al Oliver. Oliver's had a hit, a 2-run homer, and 4 times up. Pitches outside, ball 1. The Reds are 2 outs away from the league championship of 1975. Ground ball to second. Morgan has it. He throws to Tony. They're 2 out. And now we need 1 more as Willie comes to the plate to hit for the first time tonight. It is 5-3 Cincinnati with 2 out and the base is empty in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Reds are out away from winning the National League pennant and out away from sweeping the Pirates in 3 straight games. Randolph, right-handed batting rookie infielder. Petey looking for the sign. He kicks and deals. The pitch is hit to Morgan. He's up. He throws to Tony. And the 1975 pennant belongs to the Reds. Pandemonium is breaking out down below as the Reds are mobbing Pedro Bourbon, who has retired the Pirates in order here in the 9th inning, and the Reds have won the 1975 National League pennant. 5-3, the final score in 10 innings, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, it's all over here in Pittsburgh as the Reds have won the 1975 National League pennant by sweeping the Pittsburgh Pirates in 3 straight, winning here tonight by a final score of 5-3 as the Reds are up for 2 10th-inning runs. The winning run driven home on a sacrifice fly by rookie outfielder Ed Armbruster, scoring Kenny Griffey, and then the insurance run following a base hit by Pete Rose, a double to right center by Joe Morgan. The winning pitcher, Raleigh Eastwood, the loser, Ramon Hernandez, and a save for Bourbon, who 1-2-3 the Bucks in the 10th inning. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors, with 4 left on. The great big winning numbers for Cincinnati. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and 7 left on for Pittsburgh. And now for Cincinnati, it's on to the 1975 World Series that will open Saturday afternoon at Fenway Park against Darrell Johnson's Boston Red Sox. And boy, the Reds left no doubt that as far as the National League is concerned, they are indeed the finest ball club in the senior circuit of Major League Baseball. An important message for fans back in Cincinnati, because after the Reds tear the clubhouse apart here in Three Rivers, they're going to be doing it all over again at Fountain Square in Cincinnati about 2 or 2:30 this morning, and we'll have that information for you in just a moment. Well, we'll hold it right here, and again, we'll pass along the information that fans are advised not to go to the airport to meet the team. The team will not be seen at the airport. There will be a band on the square shortly after the game if the Reds, of course, wrapped it up here tonight, and so that is a certainty in Cincinnati tonight. Fans are invited to head downtown and join the fun. The Reds will probably get downtown about 2 or 2:30 in the morning. WLW Radio will be keeping fans posted on the goings-on at the square and on the arrival of the team. So again, we'll remind you that if you want to greet the Reds when they return home, there will be a welcome home ceremony at Fountain Square sometime after 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. and we urge you to avoid the airport and join the fun on Fountain Square. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The Reds have won the 1975 National League Championship, 5-3 the final score, and right now we'll sign it off from here in Pittsburgh, and we'll be back shortly with our post-game celebration.